Hey, undeniable brilliance. Hey, Monroe. Hey, Better Days. Hey, Miss B. Hey, Ray Black. Glit Lucas. How y'all doing? So, anyway, guys, I guess we're gonna get started. Happy Friday, y'all. Happy TGIF. I want to come on this morning, if I could, this Friday morning, so that we could discuss the Jelani Day case and investigation. um a couple I've gotten a couple of comments asking me, you know, pretty much what I thought about it. Have I been watching what's going on with the Jelani Day case? And I'm sure you guys have heard of Jelani Day. So we're going to pretty much break down some things that have been found out concerning Jelani Day. And I realize that this has been going on a long time, but for some reason, um the um the news has been so focused on the Gabby Petito case. um there's been very little coverage, say for the CNN. There's been very really nothing hardly said about it, that I heard on national news anyway. Hey, Tasha Reb, you know what I mean? And so, but people have been talking about it on social media, and especially if you're on YouTube and places like that. Like I said, CNN has been covering it, and so in case you guys don't know who Jelani Day is, let me give you a brief, rundown of who he is. Jelani Day was a 25-year-old young black man. um, he was a first year medical grad student. He was studying to get his master's in speech pathology. Hey, D Dot. In speech pathology. So he was going to the Illinois State University. He had prior been to, I believe, a university in Alabama or something like that. So he transferred to finish his studies at ISU, right? So he went missing from the campus on August 24th, and like I said, there hasn't been much media coverage, save for CNN and the cable news outlets, right? And so, but like I said, people have been talking about it on social media. People have been asking me for a couple of days what I thought about it. But before I talk about something like this, um, I pretty much try to get as much information as I can. You know what I mean? And I've been taking notes after notes after notes, and I figured today was a good day to go on and have the conversation. You know what I mean? And I realize it's in the beef sector, but you guys know, if you have been watching me, that sometimes I will do the true crime cases, right? And and so uh this case hit me like the Kanika Jenkins case, and the fact that there's not a lot of mass media coverage about it is so sad and so unfortunate, because this was such a promising young man, and so, but there's a lot of details that have come out about this, and like I said, Jelani Day's case compared to the Gabby Petito case. And you guys know, I don't know if you guys know about Gabby Petito, but Gabby Petito was a YouTuber, young Anglo woman. Hey, Snazzy, young Anglo woman in her 20s. She had been making, YouTube videos chronicling her, going cross country with her boyfriend. They've been talking about it for weeks on mass media. I mean, like the NBC, ABC, CBS, or whatnot. They've been talking about it for weeks. She disappeared. Her family was searching for her. Her boyfriend, you know, uh, you know, showed up one day with the van, but he didn't show up with Gabby. Come to find out, he done strangled her allegedly, and left her in the desert, right? And so he been on the run since then. They even show talked about her autopsy report. They said her autopsy report had said that she had been manually strangled, meaning he pretty much choked her to death with his own two hands, right? That is a horrible case of domestic violence. God bless her and her family. Domestic violence is real. It's a precautionary tale, in my opinion, when it comes to young people, in relationships. And if you find yourself in a domestic violence situation, it is truly horrible how that girl lost her life. I really hate that. You know, um, yeah, that's true, Monroe. That's why we talking about it today. Yeah, there was news on Gabby every day. Yet you can't hardly get no coverage about Jelani, right? So anyway, I just want to mention the Gabby Petito case because that, like I said, that is a precautionary tale. When it comes to domestic violence, you know, and so yeah, it's just hard. She was so young, it don't make no sense. I don't know if the boyfriend is still alive or not. I I really don't think he took his own life because if you're gonna do that to that girl, you're a coward. Any man that put his hand on a woman, especially when it comes to these domestic violence perpetrators, you less than a man. That means you weak, right? And so I don't even believe that he killed himself. I really don't think that he took his own life, but who knows? But I mean, he's so weak. I mean, really, yeah, I think he's alive too. I really don't think that he's dead because he's weak. He too weak to kill himself. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, they said it was survivalist, and they went on this massive search. I mean, launched a massive search looking for the boy. They was looking for her too, but they also launched a massive search. Looking for him, right? And all the time we're dealing with Jelani Day, and Jelani's family. Pretty much did a whole lot of the footwork when it came to finding Jelani, right? But like I said, I really want to mention that about Gabby Petito. That's a precautionary tale when it comes to domestic violence situations, especially as it pertains to young people. I hope that there have been, since COVID has struck, they say there is a rise in femicide. Femicide meaning a rise in females, being killed, in this country right here in particular. And so, this is just horrible. It's horrible, and so yeah, it's just it was hard to hear about what happened to that little girl. And I hate that, and I hate that for her family. That don't make no sense, And it's a whole lot of signs that he was a domestic violence abuser. Like separating her from her family. Had the girl. She clearly looked like she was scared when they called the police when she was talking to the police. I feel like the police dropped the ball because they should have taken that girl into custody with them because she was clearly afraid. They misread that whole situation. But anyway, we are here today to talk about Jelani Day, right? And the disappearance of Jelani Day. They subsequently found his body. There's a whole lot of issue about the autopsy. It was the family, like I said, did most of the leg work, and I want to talk about the timeline as well as the autopsy, right? And like I said, I have taken so many notes. You know what I mean? Because it's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. That like I said, there's just hardly no media coverage anyway. But there are so many signs and also they wanted to spin the narrative that he may have committed suicide. But the all of this that's going on, all the things that have been found out, all the evidence shows is contradictory when it comes to suicide, in my opinion. Because it don't sound right to me. Two and two ain't equaling four here, and so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna break down the timeline, like, and the sources that I got, the sources that I'm using, um, like I said, are from social media, some YouTube videos, as well as news articles, as well as some news channels, And so anyway, um, it's just crazy, right? Right. He took his life in his own organs, right? You know what I mean? And so yeah. But anyway, so I told you guys that Jelani Day, 25-year-old black man, first year medical grad student at Illinois State University, once again studying to become a speech pathologist. And so and on August 24th, he came up missing, right? So we're going to break down the timeline. Y'all bear with me. Please hit the like button, right? I realize that subjects like this are not wildly popular, here in the beef sector, but, a couple of people asked me about it, and I want to talk about it anyway. I've been wanting to talk about it. It's just that I like to wait a while, before I go down the rabbit hole, because I know if I go down the rabbit hole, like the Kanika Jenkins case, I'm just pretty much down there in the rabbit hole, right? And so, but I done found out so much stuff and taken so many notes that I figure it's time to talk about it. It's Friday. It's a good day to have the conversation, right? This is also a precautionary tale. There are so many twists and turns. I don't see how law enforcement, they're not even wanting to rule his death a homicide, right? But there is so much information, so many facts out there that that prove to me that this is clearly homicide, that he clearly didn't take his own life. Okay, we're gonna go through some of this stuff. Y'all bear with me as I go through these notes, okay? And you'll see why I don't think that he, along with a whole lot of people, don't think that Jelani took his own life, including his mom, clearly, and that's the narrative that they tried to spin to her. But first, I had wanted to talk about, before we got started going down this rabbit hole, I had got a comment that really stood out to me from a viewer. And let me see if I can find that comment. I think I forgot to do you remember the young man that died? And yeah, absolutely. It put me in the mind. I'm glad you said that, Snazzy Girl, because this put me in the mind of not only Kendrick Johnson, but also Emmett Till. It puts me in the mind of, and if you guys don't know who Kendrick Johnson was a young black high schooler. His body was found in a high school, in the gym, and his body was rolled up in a mat, and his organs were missing, and his family for all these years have been found. They've gone through a whole lot, trying to find out exactly what happened to their child. I don't think they ever will, but yes, it's put me in the mind of Kendrick Johnson. So it absolutely did. And it also put me in the mind of Emmett Till. And as I go through and start reading, what has been found out, like behind the scenes, you'll see why I say that, right? And so it's like I said, it's so unfortunate. But like I said, let me try to find this viewer comment because it stuck out to me. I don't know if I'll be able to do this on here, but I forgot to do I have it? Yeah, I got it. Here you go. Hold on a minute. I think this is part of it, maybe. Let's see. It's that one. Yeah, I think that's it. Hold on, guys. I'm trying to, cause I use the overlay thing to try to show you guys what's going on, what I was talking about, brother. Just give me 1 second. See if I can find it, and we'll talk about it. I did that one, that one. I'll do this one too. Okay, so um the other day, okay. So the other day I got a comment under the video that I did when I was talking about is this the first one? Yeah. When I was talking about the other day, I don't know if you guys saw that video, but the other day we were talking about what was going on with Pressure Cooker and James Caldwell, right? And so at one point in that video, uh we were talking about the fact that Pressure Cooker, she acted like she was upset with James, because he called Heidi Fly a bed wench because she is married to an Anglo. But I feel like she was upset about that comment, not because he said it to Heidi, but because she's married to an Anglo as well, right? And so we talked about that. But under the video, evidently somebody didn't like um you know that we had mentioned that, and that really was that conversation was just one example of what was really going on with Pressure Cooker, not even necessarily the comment. It was like an excuse, and so that's why we talked about it. So anyway, let me read y'all this viewer comment, and we're gonna get right back to the, because I had to, I want to say something about this because it really stuck out to me. So the comment under the video stated, there are many people besides Heidi, DKL, Pressure, and Pressure, talk about Pressure Cooker, that have a white partner. There are plenty of mixed people here too. The beef sector has become so vocal about their hate for whites. Now I don't know why she feels that way, so vocal about their hate for white, interloper, etc. That now no one speaks on it or will say who or what they are. It's sad. It's sad. I'm proud of my mixed kids, and I'm proud of my white stepkids. And it's sad that if I disagree um with the racial things that get said, hold on, let me pull up the other part, with the racial things that get said around here. I'm called an interloper, etc. It said you can't say all whites or something anymore than you can say all of us, meaning blacks, or one thing. There's good and bad in everything. It's sad. Bedwins was just talked about like it's okay to say it, as long as Heidi, DKL, and even Pressure get treated right and are happy. Who cares, right? So that is the comment, and I want to comment on it. You see what I'm saying? So my response to that comment was, I really enjoyed reading your comment. I think that it will be a great panel discussion. Would you be interested in hitting my link to have this conversation? So I never got a response back from the person that wrote that comment. So let me go on and get my response to that. In the first place, I think hey, Lady T, I'm glad you're on here. I got your message yesterday. Even though it was deleted, I still read it. And some other people have been asking me to talk about Jelani Day, and that's what we finna do. But I want to read this comment, right? And so my answer to the person that wrote that comment about what's going on in the B sector. For instance, when I use the word interloper or Anglo interloper, I'm talking about the trolls. I'm not talking about any Anglo person that is not a troll. Now we know that a lot of these Anglo trolls going around here are starting a whole lot of trouble. They call people the N word. It's just too much, right? And like I said, when I spoke about Heidi Fly being called a bed witch, that was only in reference to Pressure Cooker and a narrative that she was trying to spin. So if the shoe don't fit, pretty much don't put it on. If you're not an Anglo interloper and you are married to you are black and you are married to an Anglo, man, and you got Anglo step kids, good for you. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about the Anglo interloper, right? And if you can't, differentiate when I'm talking about an interloper, a messy person, okay, somebody calling people the N word, being very racist themselves. If you can't differentiate that from everybody else in the world, then I don't know what else to tell you. But when I speak about the Anglo interloper, I'm talking about the Anglo interloper. I'm not talking about you if you are not an Anglo interloper. And I really want to say that. And like I said, I asked the person to come on and have a discussion. I didn't hear back from them. I would explain that I should not have to break down things to an elementary level. And like I said, if the shoe don't fit, don't put it on. Right? And that's all I got to say about that. But I really want to mention that because I think that that comment was out of context as it pertains to the video the other day, because that was not the topic of discussion. Okay, so I want to mention that to you guys. And so let's get into the case. So I told you who Jelani Day was, 25-year-old, first year med grad student studying to become a speech pathologist. Okay, so I got a whole lot of notes, so y'all bear with me here, and y'all fill in the blanks, or I look back over at the chat from time to time, but I really have to read these notes. I really want to be as specific as I can, because there's so much information, and in light of everything that is really still going on in my mind, you don't want to put any type of misinformation out there, right? So I'm going to read from my notes, and y'all bear with me, right? So, and if you got any questions, please drop them in there. I'll try to look over, right? And please hit the like button, right? And thanks everybody for coming in, right? And so anyway, let's break down the timeline. I want to start with the Jelani Day's disappearance, the timeline of events, right? So on August 23rd was the last time that the mom speaks to Jelani. She spoke to him on the evening of the 23rd. General conversation. I love you. ABC, the thing that you're gonna call and talk to your mom, just in general, right? So she gets off the phone with Jelani. No problem. She's not worried about it, right? At all, right? It's this August 23rd. So later on in the evening, um, there is a woman by the name of Kara, and she is Jelani's professor, right? So Jelani's professor says she has text. She texted him, and they had a conversation on the night of the 23rd, discussing his coursework, and also sets a meeting for Jelani the next morning. Some people were saying the meeting was set for 7:45 in the morning, right? So on the 24th. So like I said, she's texting him late at night, talking about his coursework, she says, and she sets up a meeting with him in the student center on the morning of the 24th at 7:45 a.m. Now, the first thing that popped into my mind, that I don't ever recall any of my professors. Now, I know it's been a while, and I don't know if this now, and you got a whole lot of students, right? I don't ever recall, one of my professors, you know, contacted me, in the evening time, but like I said, it's a new day, it's a new age, so maybe that's when she texts her students. I don't know. But anyway, I found that strange. And so, because I'm not going to be texting any students if I'm a teacher after 9 o'clock at night. I'm worried about my own life, right? So anyway, so she set that meeting for him. People were speculating that it was around 7:45 was when she was supposed to meet with Jelani at the student center, right, to discuss his coursework. She later goes on to say that he was supposed to do something for her. I didn't ever hear exactly what it was that he was supposed to do for her, but and then this is the night of the 23rd. So then we're talking about the timeline, right? So on August 24th, the teacher says that Jelani didn't show up for the meeting, right? Didn't show up for the meeting at the student center, right? But the camera show on August 24th, the student center camera show him showing up to the student center around 7:20 a.m., right? He's wearing a light blue button-down shirt and look like some black blue jeans, right? And his clothing is appropriate, for him to have a meeting with his professor, right? And so this is important. And let me try to pull up the photo. Hold on. So and why I mentioned this is important because the teacher, I only got this one right here, but this is important too. Okay, this is him, the one on the left, the right, my left. Yeah, I'm gonna have to delete that. Hold on a minute. The one on the left is Jelani. Is the photo, a still shot from the video of him showing up at around 7:20 to the student center. He's dressed in an appropriate manner. Dressed, like he's going to a meeting early morning with his professor. He's got the button down shirt on, the jeans and the sneakers. He's got his mask on as he's going into the student center, right? So we know that he was at the student center at 7:20 a.m. Now, like I said, the professor said that he did not show up for the meeting. So if he's there at 7:20, if he's there at 7, hold on, y'all. I'm getting I got a troll in here. Hold on a minute. So hold on, guys. I'm sorry. I hate to get sidetracked. I'm just not saying this, but okay. So he's on camera showing up to the student center at 7:20 a.m. And like I said, this is important because the professor says that Jelani never showed up to the meeting, right? So she says that she texted him when he didn't show up and he didn't text back, right? And so, but like I said, it's strange because you can clearly see him on the camera going into the student center. This is the student center cameras, right? This is a still shot of the footage, right? And he's walking into the student center. Like I said, they showed the time at 7:20 a.m. He walked he got into the student center. His bank records, his mama had his bank records pulled up, and his bank records showed that he used his debit card to buy some Starbucks coffee, right? And so the professor says, like I said, she started to worry. So she went to his 1 o'clock class, right? She said he didn't show up. He didn't show up for the meeting that morning, even though we see him on camera around 7:20 walking into the student center. We know that he used his debit card to buy Starbucks coffee. If the meeting was supposed to be around 7:45, I don't understand how he didn't show up to the meeting, right? It just doesn't make sense to me, right? So anyway, the professor says that she started to worry about him. Now she started to worry immediately, right? So then, like I said, she said she texted him after he didn't show up to the meeting, and he didn't text. Yes, that's the same man, right? Let me take this off because that's the one I got. I just want you guys to notice the one with the blue shirt on first. That's why I put it up there, right? So let me take this down for a minute so nobody won't be confused. Okay. So so like I said, she texted him. She said he didn't text back. She began to worry. So she went to his 1 o'clock class, right? And he didn't show up to that class either. And she said she's really starting to worry about him now. And she's contacted, and she starts to contact the campus police, really like a campus watch group or something like that, right? To go check on him, right? So just put a pin in that because we're gonna get back to that, right? So uh after that, so before the 1 o'clock class, right? So all she know, we know that he showed up to the student center around 7:20, right? Okay, so come to find out, between 7:20 and 9 o'clock, you see Jelani again. It said, but come to find out, around 7:20 a.m., there's a still shot of him walking into a weed dispensary called what's the name of the dispensary called? I forgot what the name of the dispensary is called, Hello Kitty or something like that. He's walking into the Reed dispensary. And he's still in the town of Bloomington, Illinois. He was in that store. Well, the weed dispensary is about 10 minutes away from the campus. Okay. And it's also a few minutes away from his apartment, right? And so this is important because that was the last place that Jelani was seen. It's the last place that his phone pinged. was at this weed dispensary. So let me put this picture back up. I don't even know why I took it back down. We got to put it back up. So this is a still shot of Jelani walking into the picture on my right is a still shot of him walking into the weed dispensary, right? So you notice he done changed clothes. He was supposed to go to the meeting that he didn't show that the professor says he didn't show up for. So I guess sometimes after that he goes back to his apartment, his off-campus apartment. He changes his clothes, so he puts on this blue hat, this black shirt, and look like white or gray shorts. And he drives to the dispensary. The dispensary they're guessing is about 10 minutes away from his off-campus apartment. This is also the last place that he's found. There was some speculation as to why he parked so far away from the front door. There's another shot that I didn't put on here, but there's another still shot of him, pretty much. Hold on, let me go back up here. Okay, Lady Till, do you wanna come up? If you got time to come up, you can help me out with some of the info if you want to. Let me know if you want me to drop the link and you can come up, right? Because like I said, I got a whole lot of notes right here. Okay, so like I said, so he goes into the dispensary uh around 9:20. He was in there for about 10 minutes. This is important. Like I said, okay, you want to come up? Okay. So let me read this. Let me read this just like I got it. This is important because that was the last place Jelani's phone pinged. The pic also shows that he had changed clothes, and we see that he changed, out of the blue shirt to the shorts and the black sweatshirt, right? Shows him change his clothes. Now wearing a dark t-shirt, gray or white gym shorts, and the blue hat. And I said, but I also was wondering why they only showed a still shot instead of the actual video. I don't know if there's an actual video that the weed shop released or not. You know what I mean? And I also wondered for myself why did he park his car so far away from the front door? And that made me wonder, was somebody possibly in the car with him? And but there's no bank record of a weed purchase, right? And meaning he had to use cash, right? So the dispensary takes debit cards as well as cash, but because there's no record of it, we are assuming I'm gonna have to assume that he used cash, right? um and he was in the dispensary about 10 minutes and he left, and that was the last place that anybody saw Jelani alive, was at weed dispensary, right? And so let me drop this link for Lady Tia. Hold on, y'all. But yeah, let me copy it. That's the last place that his phone teamed, was at the weed dispensary. The last time there was footage of him alive, right? Okay, so here you go, Lady Tia. And so, yeah. But the clothes are important. So keep his outfit in mind. That is even important, right? So hold on. Let me get that off the screen. Okay. So we done established where the last place that he was seen alive, right, was the weed dispensary. Corio said, but why park so far if he had someone with him? I mean, I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. You know, um, Snazzy Girl said the posture of the pictures doesn't look like the same. Yeah, but it's the same person. It's just it was identified as the same person, so it's definitely him. So we know that. Lady Tia,
Hey, Miss O.
hey girl. Let me
Hey,
take this,
yeah.
let me take this
Look,
down.
I've been watching this just like a Kanika Jenkins case. I've been paying attention to everything, and I was saying if anything you forget, I can probably fill in the blanks. And starting with the professor and what she said, she was texting him the night before. And my thing was, what was the meeting about? And she still haven't said what the meeting was about.
Right. Yeah, she even did an interview, and she still didn't say what it was that she needed him to do. And why was she alarmed even before his
That,
mom was alarmed? But
right.
we gonna get into it, right?
Okay.
Okay. Let's talk about, and Lady Tia is wondering about the professor. Her name is Kara, just like I am, right? So I took some notes on that, Lady Tia, and so I
Okay.
got into that. His professor says she became increasingly worried about Jelani because he missed their meeting on Tuesday morning. Then he missed
Mhm.
his class at 1 p.m. on Wednesday. She called the campus police, or the watch group or whatever, a student watch group. After he didn't show up for class, says so so after she showed up to his class and he didn't show, she knew he wasn't in there. She contacted I'm gonna say the campus police, right after 1 o'clock. Then she
Mhm.
says she hadn't heard back from them. When about 5 o'clock rolled around, she still hadn't heard back from the campus police. So she decided to contact the local police department, right? So because the campus watch group told her that they had 24 hours to act. They had
Right.
24 hours, to act on her report, right? And so and so
She also got a friend that is the officer.
but yeah, we ain't got to that yet. I got
Okay.
out.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
so okay, it says I forgot to mention. Before she went to the police department, the local police department, she decided to go speak to her chairperson, or we gonna say her supervisor, right? The person that's over her, because she was becoming increasingly worried about Jelani. The chair slash supervisor calls the campus police or watch group herself or himself. They tell the chair the same thing. Um, and that is when she contacted the local police to do a well check, right? Um,
Right.
so she so she so let's break this down. Number one, why is Kara, his teacher, why do you think the teacher is so concerned about his whereabouts, like immediately, like 24 hours, or a couple of days that he's been gone? Why is she so jealous? Another question I got, this is Jelani's, first semester there. I mean, she really has had time to form a relationship, with her, even if he was a teaching assistant, it's his
Mhm.
first semester there, right? So I'm sure
Right.
she got more than one student, so why be so worried about him, especially after he only been missing, for one day.
Right. And Ms. O, it was like I had concerns about the. I mean, I understand that he's in college, so maybe it's different with professors when it comes to, I guess, texting or emailing, which I still think is strange because I don't know teachers that text their students after hours or, at a certain point. And if the concern was about that meeting, that's what I'm saying. She never still have not yet said what the meeting was about, which I
Right.
think is important because apparently when he was dressed up, because he was dressed up on that left photo that you showed, he was dressed up looking like he was ready for a meeting. But
Right.
she said he never showed up. Why
Right.
didn't he make it to the meeting, and what was that meeting about? I don't understand why she still haven't said what the meeting was about.
Right.
And when it comes to her being so concerned, what was going on in that meeting? Was that the reason why she was so concerned?
Right. Right. And then my thing is, how is it that he didn't show up if he was there in the student center? Is it that
Right.
he didn't show up? Because it seems to me like she's the one that didn't show up, because Jelani clearly was there. If
Yeah,
they
he
had the
was.
meeting, if
Why
they had
would
the
he?
meeting,
Why would he take the time to be there on campus? That's why they
right,
got him on camera. Why would he take the time to be ready for a meeting and she say he don't show up? I feel like he showed up.
right, I do too. I feel like she didn't show up, or maybe she showed up too. Like, who? And then if she showed up, what is she trying to hide?
Right. Like the
What if
meeting
they had
did
the
happen.
meeting? Huh?
Like the meeting did happen and she's saying it
Right.
did. because it don't make no sense for him to be up that early when he had class at 1 o'clock. He ain't had no reason to be on campus but for the meeting.
But for the meeting, I absolutely agree. Nita B stress free says, it's good to get more information because I heard allegedly that he spoke to him. I guess spoke to his mom before he was going to a party. Shaking my head. So I mean, yeah, I haven't heard anything about that. I heard nothing about him speaking to his mom before going to a party. So I don't know anything about that. So let me hold on 1 second. Hold on, guys. So anyway, this is where we are up to this point. Hold on, Lady Till.
Hmm.
Uh, Mario.
Hi, Mrs. O.
Hey, how you doing?
I have fine. I have a sore throat, so forgive me.
Oh, no
Lady
problem.
T, I just wanted to jump in here real quick and say, my freshman year in college, I
Hmm.
missed classes. I set up appointments with the professors because I had missed classes. And if I didn't show up because I was partying, I was away from home, I was,
Hmm.
doing my thing. And if I didn't show up for a class or I didn't show up for a meeting that was scheduled, they didn't
Hmm.
care. They wasn't looking for me. They
Right.
Right.
kept it right on moving. So she just seems too invested. And I had a friend in freshman year that the professor was young. He thought she was cute, and they start, having a little thing, and it
Hmm.
lasted through her sophomore year. So just because she didn't know him long doesn't mean that there wasn't an attraction and they didn't start doing it, because you got to think freshmen are kids. They're 18, and if
He's
she's
25.
So
seasoned
he's
and
25.
older,
Yeah, he's
he's
This is
25.
when
25.
He had graduated
this is
from
when
A&M already. He was
right.
in school at that school too for his
This
doctorate.
is
So that's a
Oh,
lot of
okay.
school when you go. He
right.
was 25.
This is the
They could
professor
still.
that got on the screen. The
How?
professor is this picture is a professor. This is the professor.
Um.
This is Tara, the one that was worried about him immediately. It says I asked this
Um.
faculty member who reported Jelani Day's disappearance. She says it's unlike him. So that's the professor right there. And he wasn't
Is
18,
she?
he was 25 because he was in grad school.
Right.
Let me just say this, and it might sound some kind of way,
Mhm.
but and y'all gonna know what I mean. I'm sure at this point, with her being so invested, they were doing something, and I'm just gonna leave it right there.
Yeah,
I
somebody
figured
looking
she,
for
I
her.
figured she was Caucasian because they're not looking in it too much, and I'm sure she, if he hit on her or she hit on him, they were doing something. One last question before I get down: is she married?
Yep,
I
she's
don't know.
married.
Oh,
She's
she
married.
married.
There it is. There it
Yep,
is.
she's married.
Affair got caught probably, and there it is. And I hate to say that, but to me it just seems a little obvious now. You
It
Oh, it
know.
seems
gets
like that
worse. You just
because
have to keep listening. There's
yeah,
more things that are very disturbing. You know what I mean? That's why I had to take so many notes. There's more,
yeah,
when it comes to not only Kara, but a whole lot of crazy stuff surrounding his belongings and stuff
yep,
like that. But we're gonna get into it for
yep,
real. But thanks for coming up.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me on your panel. Hi, chat.
yep.
Thank you, Lady
Yeah, Miss
Tia.
O, I'm
Bye
here with
bye.
you. You welcome. I'm here with you, Miss O, on this one because I'm telling you, I am definitely invested in this,
Right.
especially with all the terms that has happened. So, yep, I'm here. Keep going. Let's go.
Okay, so I asked a question, um, well, to myself. We talked about her, contacting the local police, to do a well check. Let's break that part down. And like I said, one, why is Kurt his teacher so concerned about his whereabouts? This is Jelani first semester. I'm sure she has more than one student. So why be so concerned about him, especially after only missing one class, and he also had when it comes to his clinicals, he missed a an appointment with, I believe, two patients, right? And so
Mhm.
this is the day after the day after, then the day after that, right? But the very day on the 24th, she said she started to get alarmed, right? So the second thing was, let's talk about how the mom got involved. Because mind you, Carmen, his mom's Jelani's mom's name is Carmen. Carmen don't know nothing about this yet, because Carmen had just spoke to him on the night of the 23rd, right? So this is less than 24 hours when his teacher is worried about him, and the mama is not worried about him because she done talked to her baby less than 24 hours, right? So she
Mhm.
ain't worried about him. He's 25 years old. He doing him. Talked to him recently. Who knows if he even called her every other day. Probably called her every other day. Every couple of days. He a young man. You know how you young people. They
Mhm.
forget to call you sometime, and sometimes you might have to call them. But whatever the case is, Carmen ain't worried about him at this time. Carmen
Right.
think everything going good, right? So like I said, let's talk about how the mom got involved. Says so after the teacher calls the local police to do a wellness check, the police end up contacting Jelani's mom, Carmen, because the only address they had on record, they have on file, is his mom's address, not knowing that he has an apartment off campus. The police didn't know via the information at this point in time that Jelani had an apartment off campus. They didn't have that, and for that reason, they contacted his mom, right? So so now Carmen has been contacted by the police and say, hey, we're trying to do a wellness check on Jelani, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. His professor is suspected that he's missing. She's worried about him, and letting her know what's going on. So now Mama is now upset, right? And
Mhm.
so now officially, so his mom officially reported him missing on August the 25th, right? Now remember, she last spoke to him on the 23rd. She didn't feel like nothing was going on. The police department got in contact with her the 24th. So on the 25th, she officially reports him missing. This is after they contacted her, and she spoke to the teacher. Now she spoke to the teacher also. Then Jelani's mom got in her car and went to the campus, right? That happened next. So
It's September, guys, not August. September.
yeah,
So 2 days.
August the 23rd, his mom spoke to him on the phone. August the 24th, the professor said she got upset because he didn't show up to the meeting. She texted him, he didn't text her back. He missed a couple of classes, a couple of patients. And so now she contacted the campus police. They said they got 24 hours to act on it. So she done contacted the local police department, and they done contacted the mama because that is the only address, the only contact information that they have in the file. So now Jelani's mom then got in her car and she done went to Illinois State University. She done talked to the teacher, and now she's filed an official missing person report, and that is on August the 25th, right? And so uh Jelani's mom, immediately starts looking for clues. Trying to retrace Jelani's movements and his steps and stuff, and leading up to his disappearance. Now, mind you, his mama don't know nothing about this until they call her, right? Because she ain't concerned, right? So his
Right.
mom, Carmen, finds out that he was on campus at 6:50 a.m. the morning. He was on campus um before he went to the coffee shop to meet up with the teacher, right? He was on campus at 6:50 a.m. on the 24th, because and she knows this because he logged into the campus computer to update his clinical notes, right? So she knows that he was on campus in the morning. We also know that he was on campus because he had a meeting, and we seen the still shot of him walking into the student center. After that, he then goes, like I said, to meet the teacher, Kara, at the student center. His bank records show that he paid for some Starbucks there. That's how we know he was there for sure. Corman goes to the campus officials to ask them to retrieve the video of him at the student center. She says that kind of blew her off. So she went and contacted Kara, the teacher, again to see if the teacher could get to school to get the video of him at the student center. But check this out. Come to find out, the teacher, who's already contacted the local police, tells Corman, the mom, that they have already retrieved the video. And
Yep.
Corman was taken aback. She was like, "What, child?" So they done already retrieved the video, right? So she two steps ahead of the mama off the rip, right? She two steps ahead of her, right? So anyway, we come to find out, the teacher, Kara, she knows someone, or she got some kind of pull at the local police department, right? And that a detective has already been assigned to the case. Now, mind you, at this point in time, Carmen, the mom, don't know that there's already a detective assigned to the case, just like she didn't know that they done already retrieved the video from the student center, right? So she goes
Right.
on to say that she spoke with the detective and gave him everything that she had already found, right? So I wager to bet that everything that she already know, they already know, right?
Mm.
Because they already been investigating before she officially filed the police report, the
Right.
missing persons report, right? I was like, wow, okay, that is
Now I
crazy.
understand, man. Oh, it's like where is, because if they already retrieved the videos, we want to see the video of him walking through campus that
Right,
morning because he went to Starbucks before he went to go to this meeting. We see that
right,
he got his coffee and he's dressed for a meeting. Where is the videos of him going through campus? And that would answer if he actually went and met the teacher. But because she done already got detectives already done snatched the videos, which is so crazy. I mean, what they're doing work before the moms is even involved when it comes to videos. Where I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because he hadn't even at the time. The mom hadn't even made the
yes,
official missing persons report, and only the family member, from what I understand, can make the missing persons report. The professor can't officially make the missing person report, but like I said, she got some pull, or she
yeah,
knows somebody, she knows somebody at the police department, so they already investigated. They already done pulled the camera, right? So, but my question about that, I found that strange also,
yep.
because did they pull that video of him from the campus just to see if he was there, or was it for some other reason? Why it make me suspicious of the professor, because she is like immediately concerned, and right, D Jefferson, is she trying to cover her own butt? And is the police department trying to help her, right? So that leads me to this part of what I got wrote down. Said, well, and then Carmen said, the mom says, while talking with the detective, Carmen starts to feel like the detective is trying to spin a narrative, right? The narrative is that Jelani may possibly have committed suicide, right? So finally gets to talk to the detective, right? She done told him everything that she know, which he already probably knew ahead of time. So he's starting to suggest or imply or trying to spin a narrative that possibly Jelani may have committed suicide, right? So we're gonna put a pin in that, but we're gonna leave a pin in that right there. Let's not discuss that no more, right? And
Okay.
so on August 20, moving forward with the timeline. So on, because we can stay right there forever, Lady T. We can, right?
Yeah, sure
So,
can.
so that was the 25th. Now, on August 26th, I'm sorry, on August the 26th, somebody found his car an hour away from Bloomington, Illinois, in a town called Peru, Illinois. Report says the car appeared to have been hidden in a wooded area. The theory is that you would have had to, and according to what the mom said, and my theory is that you would have had to have been familiar with the area, with the town, in order to have hidden the car in that particular area, simply because, now mind you, this is a hour away, right? Simply because not only not only because the town was off the beaten path, it was like one of them towns it's like, set back, right? It was off the beaten path, but the area where the car was found, you would have had to be familiar with the town to find that area. And not only that, the report states the car, in addition to being in that area, the car was covered with like leaves and foliage. It was like camouflage. And the license plate was removed. The license plate had been removed. Nothing was stolen from the car. The police found and the police found Jelani's shirt, and hat, that he was wearing, that we seen him wearing in the dispensary, in the still photo of him walking into the weed dispensary. Oh, it was the name of the dispensary is called Beyond to the Light.
Sorry.
And so in the article, the police mentioned the clothing because they were asking for any information that could help with the search of Jelani. So you got the detective in Bloomington trying to spin a narrative that he may have committed suicide, right?
In
Let me turn
two
this off
days.
here.
In 2 days,
In 2 days,
they're
right?
coming up with that conclusion.
Let me pull up the picture of the car. Here this go right here. Okay, can you see that, Lady Tia?
I see it.
Okay, now on this picture right here, it says that according to the officers, they will not be wearing. Now this is when the okay, so the Peru Police Department, where they done found the car, they're asking for information, right? Because he's disappeared, right? So it says the article state that this is the car down here. The article states that according to the officers, they will not be wearing the clothing in the footage because they were in his car, which was found by the Peru police officers on Thursday. People who may have seen Day in this clothing, but in this clothing between August 24th and 26th, should reach out to the Bloomington Police Department, right? And so, okay, so he done went and hit his car. Now, mind you, the theory is what they're trying to spin is he committed suicide, right? So he done went to Peoria, a place that he's not familiar with, found the area to hide the car, cover the car up with leaves and stuff, take off his clothes, all
Take the
right,
plate off.
take the license plate off, just to walk and do what? So anyway, it gets more juicy. But this the car, y'all, that they found in the wooded area, covered up, right? And mind you, the narrative is he's allegedly or possibly done killed himself. This is the narrative, right? And so, where am I at now? So, okay, there was an article. I just read you that article. Police mentioned the clothing because they were asking for any information that could help with the search of Jelani. Also, in a news report, police were asking for home surveillance footage from a street called Airport, streets called Airport and Charter Streets, because Bureau Police believe he may have been walking in those areas after he allegedly hit his car. Police later retrieved video footage from home surveillance that was taken on August 25th. They sent that footage to Jelani's mom on August 27th, and Jelani's mom, Carmen, told the police that the man in the video footage was not Jelani. After Carmen told the police that wasn't her son, they released a memo stating that the man in the footage had been found and that he is no longer a person of interest. They said he was in the neighborhood looking for work, right? So let me
Right.
show y'all. I think I got a picture of that. Let me show y'all. This is the surveillance footage that they sent to Jelani's mom. Just it was some random guy, walking through the neighborhood, knocking on the doors, asking them did they need some work done, like I guess like cutting the grass or
Like,
something like that,
yeah, like
right?
a salesman.
Yeah, and so they were thinking that this was Jelani, and she said the mom said, "No, this is not my son. This is not Jelani." Right? So that happened. So uh, but I don't even get how they still is trying to spin a. I- How can
Miss
you be a
O,
police officer and not be suspicious at this point in time?
right, because you can't find him. You find his car in a wooded area. The
Mhm.
license plate is gone. His clothes are in that he last was seen is in the car,
Mhm.
and he was 3 miles. That lake or river was 3 miles away from the car.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
So if he
That's
killed,
away in a straight line.
if he hurt himself, you mean to tell me he did all of this
Mm.
and then walked 3 miles to go and hurt himself and take his
Exactly.
life?
Exactly. Exactly.
They
Exactly.
found him 3 miles away from
Mm.
where that car was.
Yeah.
At
So
that,
okay, let's do some more notes. So 7 days after his car was found on September 2nd, police told his mom that his wallet was now this is interesting, y'all. Listen to this. Listen to this, Lady Tia. So I'm gonna read this again. 7 days after his car was found on September 2nd, police told his mom that his wallet was found on some street in the area, right? The person that found the wallet stated they saw someone wearing red shorts or a red shirt. They couldn't remember which, but they saw someone wearing red shorts or a red shirt drop the wallet in the street, but didn't report the incident for several days after finding the wallet. Now, so just some random guy, some random person reports that they got his wallet, right? They found it in the street because somebody wearing red dropped the wallet in the street. And that now mind you, through this whole incident, people are dropping tips. His clothing items are being found. Just it would appear to be real random. I think somebody wants us to believe that it's random, but this stuff don't sound random. Anyway, the person said I guess after they seen the person wearing red drop the wallet, they went and picked up the wallet. They kept it for a couple of days. Then they decided to report the incident. Right after a couple of days, of finding the wallet. Do you what do you
that
think
does
about that, Lady Tia?
that doesn't make no sense at all. It makes no sense at all. If anybody see a wallet, usually they just get, yeah. If there's some money in it, they'll take what's out of it. But you usually don't take the wallet home. First of all, if you
Right.
seen a random wallet, you're gonna see what's if you'll see what's in the wallet or whatever. But taking
Right.
it home, the random guy that they just happen to see drop it, that doesn't make sense.
It don't make sense. So the Peoria police said that the wallet was a few blocks east, in a straight line from where Jelani's car was found. I'm thinking, isn't that convenient?
Right.
A few blocks east is in a straight line now from where his car was found. That's where his wallet was found. Now somebody said, what color was the person? Like, I don't know, but stick a pin in it. That's a very good question. We gonna get to that, right? So now on September 3rd, Foreman, the mom, went back to the ISU campus, and she gave a speech asking for those that may have any information, about Jelani's disappearance. Please come forward and tell the police, what they know, right? So sometime after her speech at the college, someone called in an anonymous tip. Mind y'all, here go another anonymous tip. Okay, sometime after she gave her the speech at the college, right? Someone called in an anonymous tip telling the police to go search the Illinois River, right? On September 4th, Jelani's body was found in the east end of the river. Now, this is still a straight line from where his car was found, right? Was
Mhm.
found in the east end of the river along Route 251 under the bridge of South Bank around 10 a.m. That Saturday morning. Also noteworthy was the fact that the tip was credible enough for them to have around 6 or 7 different agencies after searching for the body. So somebody calls in a tip, right? Anonymous person. Don't know nothing about it, supposedly, right? But they called in a tip, telling them where to go search. The tip is so credible. I guess it's so detailed, that they had 6 or 7 different agencies after searching for his body. What do you think about that, lady Jill? Let me see if I can pull it.
It just, of course, it sounds like people are people know what happened. People are not talking though. They
Yeah.
know what happened, but they're not talking, and they're giving piece by piece by piece. But
Mm-hmm.
for all of these agencies to go out there, it's just so strange. And unfortunately, and this, I mean, we're just talking about race, but in that town, they say it's a sundown town,
Mm-hmm.
meaning
Get to that.
it
Yeah.
it's a
Gonna get to that.
sundown town. When you get when it's dark, black folks don't need to be out and about in that town.
But we gonna get to that because remember somebody asked earlier what color was the person, right? So let's go on with a few more notes. So, but you're absolutely right. We're gonna get to that, right? So here's another tip. This is the second tip, y'all. First, his card had been found. An hour away from where he go to school. He's his mom don't believe he know nothing about this area. So why would he be there? How would he know to go to a specific place to hide his car and then put shrubs and stuff in front of it to even further hide the car just to take off his clothes and go to the river and kill himself? He gonna do all of that just in order to kill himself, right? So anyway, after that, the police talked to Carmen with the theory that he hit. Now listen, listen to this. This tripped me out. After that, the police talked to Carmen with the theory that he hid his car, walked down to the river, removed the rest of his clothing, because they found the shirt and hat in the car, right? Which
They
means he
found
could
it in the trunk, Miss O. They found his clothes in the trunk.
in the trunk of the car, right? They found him in the trunk of the car. So he removed the rest of his clothing, got into the river, and drowned himself, right? Okay. And so I asked myself, really? And I asked myself, really, because Jelani's mom, Carmen, says that makes no sense. Number one, it makes no sense because Jelani had been on the swim team at school, meaning he was an excellent swimmer. And if you are a swimmer or really anybody, you're not going to be able to drown yourself because your body is not going to allow you to drown yourself.
Right.
Your body is going to take over, and it's going to force you to save yourself, right? Also, the police stated they found his. Listen to this. The police state they found his student ID close to where the body was found, but okay, but in an article, did I bring that? I don't think I pulled up that article. In another article, it was written that, quote, the ID of a ISU student was found near the body. So was it his ID or Jelani's ID or the ID of another student? So I found it very interesting. The police say it was Jelani's ID, but the article said that the ID of an ISU student was found. It was on the lanyard, and it was found near the body, right? So
Right.
that leads
Which
me
would
to
have,
think,
if it was him, Miss O, if that was his student ID, it wouldn't have took them so long to identify him.
I agree. Well, you know what? I agree. I agree. It's an excellent analogy, And so check it out. Okay, so now let's fast forward to September 22nd, right? This is 2.5 weeks later, September 22nd. The body has yet to be identified, right? So they done had the body for several weeks and it is yet to be identified. And up pops another tip. Okay? Up pops another tip. Here comes yet another tip, Lady Tia, right? In a CNN interview, the mom Corman tells the reporter that the police told her that the two females from the school from ISU, they was bored, so they decided to go conduct their own search. Mind
Right.
you, after all these agencies, had have been investigating, they had been searching the area. These two random ISU students decided to go do their own search and found Jelani's clothing. Jelani's found the rest of his clothing. Because his shirt and his hat was found in the trunk of the car, right? So they went and searching around the area where the police post had already scoured the area, right? The police said the only thing they found was a lanyard, with an ID on it. So we don't know if it's Jelani's ID or another student's ID. But these two random ISU students, these females, they searched and they found the rest of Jelani's clothing. Now Jelani's body was found nude. He was nude when they found his body in the river. He didn't have no clothes on, right? And so my thing is, who are all these people that is randomly finding his belongings, right? And check out this. And check out this. Now we was talking about Lady Tia mentioned the sun downtown, right? Um, in the town of Peru, the town is 97% white and only 0.4% black. So when Lady Tia say this is sundown town, she mean this is sundown town. It's 97% white. So you gonna tell me that this boy gonna travel to this area? He don't know nothing about this town. Take off his clothes, his shirt and his hat, put it in his trunk, hide his car in the area. He's not familiar with the area because he's not. And the reason why we say he's not familiar with that area is because his mom, Carmen, also stated that she doesn't believe that Jelani had ever visited the town and was not familiar with much of the area surrounding the campus. He hadn't strayed that far out, right? So why in the world was he found an hour away from campus, dead in the river? In an unfamiliar area.
Exactly. And not supposedly knowing anybody over there.
Right. And he knew the area so good, even though he hadn't been there, to hide the car. And why would you have to hide your car if you're going to commit suicide? Why not just drive directly to the river with your car? Take your clothes off, if that's what you're going to do, and get in the river and drown.
Right, and why would he put his clothes in the trunk? So he was getting half naked, put his stuff in the trunk, walk off, and then take off the rest of his clothes. Right. It's the fact that they said that this was a suicide for me.
Right. And why did I mention the fact that his license plate had been removed? Mm-hmm. So I guess he supposed to took off his license plate as well.
But remember that in the dispensary, he looked up at that camera. Yeah. If he wanted to hide himself, why would he identify himself looking up at that camera? Right. And back to the dispensary, they said his phone stopped pinging at 9:21 or 9:20. He was still in that dispensary supposedly at that time. So did his phone just go dead? Because me and my boyfriend was talking about it. I was like, okay, so what makes the phone stop pinging? That they would lose. He said either the phone goes dead, they can take the battery out, or he can put it on airplane mode where it'll stop pinging. But he was in that dispensary when they last stopped getting any pings off his phone, which is definitely suspicious because we don't see him coming out of the dispensary. Where is that video?
Right. And also of the parents, the family, or the police, supposedly, they have yet to find his phone. Nobody has. They found all of this stuff, right? They sent a tip about the wallet. They found the car. It didn't have no license plate on it. The two random girls went down to the water, retraced the steps, found the rest of his clothes. They found the lanyard. They don't know if it's his or not. Nobody has found Jelani's phone. Now, and also, if he's gonna drive an hour away after he now let's say he left the dispensary, right? What 25 what person nowadays do you know that's gonna drive hours away from your place of residence and not have your phone on. You ain't calling nobody. You ain't like listening to no music on your phone. You ain't doing none of that. You're 25 years old though, and your phone the last pinged at the weed dispensary.
And Miss O, if I'm not mistaken, I think on because I know we haven't got to the autopsy, but I don't think they found marijuana in his system either.
Yeah, I mean, the autopsy report hasn't said anything about marijuana, but we're gonna. But there's a reason for that, though. There's a reason for that. So, and I'm glad you said that because that's gonna segue us into the actual autopsy, right? You still with me, Lady Till?
Yes, ma'am.
So it took 20 days. Okay, mind you, they done found his body on September. Was it
The fourth.
September 4th?
The 4th. Mhm.
Yeah, they found his body on September 4th, but technically the body has not been identified yet, right? So technically they found a unidentified body, right? Even though, the mom noticed his body, the police noted that, it's his body, but it's still technically unidentified, right? So it took 20 days to ID Jelani's body. September 4th, the body was found, but classified as unidentified. The coroner says the coroner, now check this out, y'all. The coroner, and part of the reason why it took 20 days is because the coroner said he didn't have the chemicals that he needed to process the body. I felt like that was
What?
strange. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
you have the chemicals. Now you at the coroner's office, right? You ain't got the chemicals you need in the court, the supplies that you need to do your job, but you at the
Right.
coroner's office, child. That was strange to me, right? And it says the office, was backlogged, right? And so let's talk about the condition of the body, y'all. Now we're talking about the actual autopsy. So if y'all don't want to hear this, you know what I mean, just don't listen to this part, but it gets really graphic.
Right.
So
Two autopsy has been done. So let's
yes,
go with the
that's
first
true.
one.
Yeah, we're gonna get to it. So okay, so on September 23rd. Now mind you, they done had the body for 20 days, right? And it ain't been identified, right? So on September 23rd, Jelani's mom Corman told CNN. This is a CNN interview, right? Jelani's mom Corman told CNN that she hadn't heard from the LaSalle coroner's office since the day her son's body was found. She also said that, quote unquote, there's been no effort, no push, no push or slash rush to identify her son. She also said that she heard from the police, and they were rude to her. Okay, the coroner was rude to her, and he said to her, told her, that he was angry. He was angry. He had been, I guess, he was aggravated because she had called so much. Now, mind you, she trying to identify her son. This is a mother. Why would you be so disrespectful to her? But she said the coroner told her that he was angry with her and asked her if she wanted to find out if this was her son or not. It's very rude and disrespectful.
Yes, indeed.
I
That's
can't
so
believe you
horrible.
said that to her. Like, oh my God, are you kidding me?
Exactly.
Child.
That's so sad, Miss. Oh, that's so sad because if from the beginning, if those girls from ISU was able to find some stuff when the police already done been out there, let you know they didn't care too much about him, let alone doing their perimeter of looking in all areas from the spot of the car to the river. They didn't do
Mhm.
their due diligence from the beginning.
Yep, 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 yep. I mean, I mean, for them girls and it was where the girls found the clothes. It was, along that straight line,
Right.
from the car to the river. So if you really looked, why y'all didn't see the clothes?
Right.
Also the girls, it said that too. When the girls was out there looking, they saw the clothes at first, right? And then they didn't think nothing of it at first, but they got a little ways down the road. They said, "Hey, that's Jelani's clothes." So they went back and got the clothes. and then did let the police know that they had, found the clothes, right? And
Yeah.
so I found that interesting as well, right? So let's fast forward to a press release from the coroner's office. Quote, the LaSalle County coroner identified the male body found as Jelani Day, 25 of Bloomington, Illinois, through forensic dental ID as well as DNA testing, and comparison. So his body was in such a bad state, y'all, that they had to ask for the dental records as well as DNA testing. This is how bad his body was, right? And so there were two autopsies done. The first by the LaSalle County Coroner's Office, and the second was done by a private forensic pathologist, at the request of the family. So they
Right.
hired their own forensic pathologist to do to do work to try to determine what was going on with Jelani, right? And
Mhm.
so it says that the body was severely decomposed. It was missing its front, top, and bottom teeth, and that his jawbone, listen, his jawbone had been sawed out, missing his top and bottom teeth, y'all, and his jawbone had been sawed out. Now that I got questions about that, right? So the family's private pathologist also stated he could find no brain, no organs, no liver, or no spleen. All right. So let me show y'all this graphic right here. Hold on. Let's see what I got right here. Is that the one? Okay, that's not the one. Okay, this is what I want to show y'all. The family's private forensic. Can you see that, lady Tia?
Mhm. I can see it.
The private forensic psychologist said, pathologist, I'm sorry, I said psychologist, could find no brain, according to Day and the attorney, neither the liver or the spleen, right? And not only that, the corpse had no eyeballs, only the sockets, and it says the river, and the coroner said, the first coroner said the river's water had run her course, soaking the body through and through. So the reason why they mention that is because the coroner is saying that the organs, the reason why you can't find the organs is because they were liquefied. All
Right.
right. That's the reason why they saying you can't find no organs, right? But my thing is, the reason why I question that is because, okay, if the body was liquefied, if the organs were liquefied, so did the water saw his jawbone apart?
Exactly. Right,
Did
Miss
the
O, and
blood?
exactly, Miss O. With is the saw. The word saw is what
Right.
is important because even if they would have said animals were,
Mm-hmm.
attacking his body, a
Mm-hmm.
saw that they would see teeth as in pulling from an
Right.
animal, not sawing from an
Right.
animal.
Right. Yeah, so that devil was definitely in that detail right there.
Mhm.
Because it said the jaw was sawed out. Now, mind you, Michi, organ trafficking, that's what some people were saying, but the mama don't want that narrative being spun, and I'm gonna tell you why. It's because, as well as clearly the boy ain't committed suicide. You know what I mean? So he saw his jawbone apart before he committed suicide. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah,
let
I
me
got a
read
theory why she said what she said too. But go ahead.
it. I really do. I really do. So anyway, the LaSalle County coroner said that, according to the pathology report, the organs were completely liquefied. Right? She says, they found Jelani in 12 days. But how long was the body in the river? Was the body in the river long enough for his organs to be completely liquefied? That's what I'm trying to figure out, right? So the report
Mhm.
also stated that the body had suffered innumerable, meaning many, many, many fish and turtle bites, and it was maggot infested, right? says the county coroner. This is what the county coroner said. The mom and the attorney said they reached that they received the info about the fish and the turtle bites and the body being maggot infested. They received that information from the county coroner, which has not yet released. Now the county coroner has not yet released the autopsy to the family, right? So they done told the mama, said, read her things, in the report, but they have still yet to officially, release the autopsy report to the mom, right? So my thing is, number one, I do not believe that his organs were liquefied, right?
I don't
I
believe that
don't
either.
believe that. It's suspect. So if his organs was liquefied, number one, it doesn't make sense to me, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because let me get this off because I keep looking at it. Because they said the whole thing about the jawbone, right?
Right.
Now, mind you, he was in uh medical school, right?
Mhm.
So what if, let's say, something happened, Jelani, concerning surrounding the medical students and stuff, right? So they are in school, they are medical students. They know that if you don't want to if you don't want to whirl the autopsy to find his cause of death, what do? You take out all the major organs, right,
Right.
including the spleen, including dealing with the teeth and the dental records and all of this and all that, right? So
Mhm.
I can't now the intestines, all of the major organs were liquefied, so they say, right? I can't understand how even the brain is liquefied because the brain was gone too. That's
Which
not making
means,
sense to me.
which means, if the brain was gone, his head had
Hmm.
to be open.
My point exactly. My point exactly. Yeah, I don't understand that. I don't get that. So if the
And
brain, in order for the, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say the reason why they're not seeing the cause of death and want to use is suicide, like you said, because things have been taken from his body and it's not there. They can't identify what will be the cause of death.
Right. They cannot. I did exactly. That was my point. If none of the major organs are there, the body done ate its body. Okay, let me read this part. Because okay, also it says that aquatic animals, meaning the turtles and the fish and stuff like that, aquatic animals can alter the body's appearance, it mimicking trauma to the body, right? I guess because it's eating the body or whatever, because the animals are literally eating the body. They are literally chipping away at the body a little bit at a time. And did you know that maggots can consume up to 60% of the body in a week, right? But check this out. The report also stated, now this is the private autopsy performed, right, by the family's pathologist, right? The report also stated that his genitals were unidentifiable. This information is from the private autopsy performed, but was determined to have his genitals. The reason why they couldn't identify him is because the genitals has been flayed. Okay,
Right.
and flayed means that the skin had been peeled back from his genitals. Okay. Now, mind you, he was found in the water naked, right? And so they
Right.
saying the fish chipped away at the body and was eating the body. The maggots was eating the body. But how is it that they pulled the boy's skin back? They flayed the genitals, pulled the skin back, like you done cut it and you done peeled it back. How was that possible? Not it's done ate away at it. They said it was flayed, meaning the form to be flayed, that means you had to take a knife and you had to cut it and peel the skin back. You see what I'm
Right.
saying?
For me, with that, um, that goes with if he had any intercourse, they wouldn't be able to identify that.
Right.
Um, when it comes to his genital areas as well,
Right.
all sound like covering.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounded like a big cover up, you know. So I was trying to get to that part. Um, oh no, I did that one. I was trying to show y'all where I read that little part about his genitals. That's when his just jawbone was sawed out. So now you got his jawbone sawed out. You got what his organs allegedly liquefied. His jawbone sawed out. Now they saying his genitals was flayed. You know, like you what is an example of something that can be flayed? Um,
Oh, it probably kind of like skinning a chicken in a way,
yeah,
or
kind of
taking
like
the
skin in
skin
the
off or
chicken.
something.
Yeah, you know, you cut it a little bit in the middle, you take the skin off of it, you know,
Right.
and then you just got the chicken left.
Right.
Exactly. Good analogy. Here it is. This is what I'm going to show you later, Tia. It says that the genitals, this is from the private autopsy, the genitals were unidentifiable, according to the private forensic pathologist report, but determined to be flayed, according to the county coroner's forensic pathologist.
That almost sounds like fillet, huh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Flayed. That's crazy,
Hmm.
right? That is crazy.
And they're
Okay.
trying to say the animals did this, right?
The animals they took a sow first. They sawed his his what do you call it? What was this? They
His
shot
jawbone.
his jawbone apart, and then they took another knife or something and they flayed his genital area. Like I said, this remind me of Emmett Till, Kendrick Johnson. You know, that
Hmm.
coupled with the fact that there's a sundown town, like you said. You know, it's a lot going on with this. And it says that the body was in such a state of that only the grandmother, as one of his brothers identified his body. They were trying to shield the mom from, seeing him. You know what I mean? They didn't want her to see him in that state. They didn't want that to be the last thing that she remembered about him.
And you know
You know.
what I think about too, Miss O, with the body, with all of these organs being missing, you would think, and it's gruesome, that his body would be open. And
Yeah.
also, vultures always fly around stuff like that.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense that all of this happened from animals.
I don't think that his body was in the water for 12 days. I agree.
Yep.
I really don't. I agree with you. I agree with you. I don't think that his body was in there for 12 days. I think that his body at some point was placed there, you know.
Yeah, with
Mm.
the maggots actually, forensics can find exactly when the maggots start to, you know,
Feed on it.
feed upon him, and they can find the day when because the maggots they turn into butterflies and things like that, but
Right.
they also are a trace of point of death.
Mm-hmm. And I think because they said the corpse was so bad and infested, that led me to think that perhaps his body had been in the ground for a time before being transferred to the water.
But with all of that, it don't even sound like they found his body in one piece.
That's true. I agree. But they
The
didn't really
spleen.
technically didn't find it in one piece because if the organs was missing. The organs
Right.
was missing. I don't think they had time to liquefy. And what the hell happened to his brain?
And remember that we didn't talk about, he was going to he was a donor for his he was going to be a donor for his
Oh
dad.
yeah, I forgot about that. When it comes to the suicide, thank you for saying it, y'all. When it comes to the suicide part, the suicide narrative that we said that the police was trying to spin, well, come to find out that Jelani's dad is in the hospital. He has cancer, and Jelani is a perfect match for the bone marrow
Hmm.
procedure needed to save his father. So why in the world would he kill himself? And there was an interview. His cousin did an interview for the Chicago news channel, and she was telling us that his dad's in the hospital. And Jelani would regularly, every couple of days go see his daddy, check on him, let him know it's gonna be all right. Why would he kill himself? And his daddy needed his bone marrow.
Right. It doesn't make sense. He was a willing donor for his dad. He
Yes,
potentially saved his dad's life. And he
yes,
was going to school for to be a doctor in speech therapy to help
hmm
people that have speech problems.
yeah,
It's just so crazy that they took his teeth. It's
yeah.
just
Yeah. Well, you can identify, with the teeth. You know, that's why
right.
they stop. But I see by him being in medical school, that makes it even more suspicious. The way that the body was found, the jawbone being sawed, his genitals being flayed, his organs allegedly being liquefied, which we don't believe that. So there's no remnants of the organs at all. You telling me
Yeah.
that no remnants or nothing?
I honestly believe he was sought out. I honestly believe he was sought out once they found his what his blood type was, which probably was rare, which is why with his dad, well, he's a sibling of five, but with him being the only one having the match of his dad, I think he was sought out. I think he was sought out for a while. And I still go back to that meeting. What was that meeting about, Professor? What was the meeting about
Right,
that never supposedly happened or did
right.
happen? And you're covering up and going to detectives and police officers
Mm-hmm.
before you
Yeah,
even mention to his mom what is
yeah,
going
we got that.
on.
They done pulled all that tape before mom was even notified. Mom asking them to remove the video, and they already got the video.
Right.
It don't make no sense to me because she don't want the timeline to be revealed now. But the camera did show him, with his meeting clothes on. So why wouldn't he have met her? Either she didn't show up, or she got them to take her picture. Her photos, off the
Mhm.
out the video. You
Yeah, it
know,
just that's those is a lot of missing pieces, but and I still go back to him looking in that camera. If he wanted
hmm
to hurt himself, and they make it seem like this is so planned out thing that he was
yeah,
planning out to do, why would he
yeah.
look up in that camera like that? I
I
feel
think
like
he was.
he
Mhm,
was trying to. It was a
mhm.
fear. That was
Yeah,
fear in his eyes, and that's why I say
yeah,
that picture is so cringy. Seeing him
yeah,
looking up that camera.
yeah. Yeah. My thing is, I think he was afraid. Like, was somebody in the car with him and they made
Right,
him park that far away? Why
right.
you parking? Why are you parking so far away from the door? Nobody
And
else
it
is in the parking
Right,
lot.
it was no one else in the parking lot. Why would
Right.
he it's like that's why I say when him looking up at the camera, him parking
hmm
away from the cameras outside, but him
hmm
looking in the camera when he went into the dispensary,
hmm
it looked like fear in
Yeah.
his eyes,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's so hurtful.
Yeah. It looked like that to me too. It don't make no sense. Lord Jesus.
Okay,
But
so what's your theory on why mom don't want to go into the organ harvesting?
well, she don't want to. I think that she don't want the. I don't. I think she feel like it may be just some other excuse that the police can use. Did I put that up? What she said? This is what she said, Lady Tia. She said, Corman Ball, she said, release a statement. It reads in part, quote, can you see this? Some things need to have
Mhm.
some things need and have to be classified. No organs were missing. I do not want to stray off the facts. She don't want nobody thinking, oh well, this organ harvesting. Let's stop asking questions about what happened to his
Him.
organs. That's what I'm
Right.
thinking. Stay off the stay I don't want to stray off from the facts. There were contradicting facts from the first preliminary autopsy compared to the second independent autopsy, but this is not a case of organ harvesting. So she don't want nobody chalking it up what happened to that baby's organs to organ harvesting. Because then you won't ask the question of, what it sure do seem strange that he ain't got no organs in there, no remnants of organs. His brain is gone. All the organs that could determine his cause of death, they are not there,
Right.
including his brain. And why
And
was his I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and I also think the reason why she said that is because she don't she wants everybody to know that she know her son didn't commit suicide. So
Right.
let's stay on that. He did not do this to himself. She want
Right.
to stay on that. So when it comes to the organs, I don't think she want to go down that rabbit hole just
Yeah.
yet because
Yeah.
the I think it was the cousin or
Yeah.
the sister said that is not off the table. Now, mom said this, but the cousin or the sister
Yeah.
said that organ harvesting is
Yeah.
not off the table. So it for the mom, I think she just don't want this
Yeah.
being classified as a suicide, and
Yeah.
let's make sure that we understand that this was not a
Yeah.
suicide. There's definitely been
Right.
something happened
And
that
it's
had
something more
nothing
than
to
and
do.
it's something more
Hmm.
than organ harvesting going on here. See, it
Right,
was too many all these random people. You got a tip, here go the wallet. You got a tip, here go the clothes. You got a tip. What was that other tip? The tip for the wallet. The two girls found the clothes. What was it? Oh, and the tip was the tip of our tips was where to find the body. They even told the
right,
police where to go search for the body. And so she just don't want nobody to be more focused on organ harvesting than the rest of the crazy stuff surrounding the case because they got a tip for everything. You know
right,
what I mean? That don't make
right.
no sense. How is that possible, Lady Tia? I mean, really?
Exactly. And because um everybody was all into that Gabby Petito case,
Yeah.
his story was going in the background and it wasn't even being talked about. It wasn't
Yep.
being talked about because her case overshadowed his.
Mhm. Yep.
Unfortunately, we got a white girl missing versus a black dude. Long as
Yep.
they put our stories to the back,
Yep.
and they talked about that more than anything. But this right
Yep.
here is definitely suspicious, and it definitely
Yep.
should have been all over the news. I don't
Yep.
like how they treated her. It
No.
shows some type of racism,
Yes, it
because they
is.
didn't
Like they
take her
couldn't
case
even they couldn't
serious.
even be couldn't treat her with dignity and respect, and she done lost her son. Of course she gonna ask questions. She wants y'all to come on and identify the body, even though we all know that that's the body. It needs to be officially identified. And you got a problem with the woman asking why it's taking 20 something days to identify the boy's body. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm going to read this little part right here because this was important too. It was important to me. I did the part about the genitals. I was saying no eyeballs. I did that. The body was in such a state. Okay, I told you about the grandmama and the brother because they didn't want the mama, to see the body to be her last name, right? Also, I want to mention that a body. Now, mind you, it took them 20 days to identify the body. It took them 12 days to find the body. We don't know how long the body was in the water. I don't think that the body was in the water the whole time, right? So it says, also, I found this little thing about also a body will decompose faster in the water and even fast, and it decomposes even faster when it's removed from the water. So it's imperative that the autopsy be done immediately. So was it done immediately? We can say no, it wasn't done immediately because remember the coroner's office didn't have the chemicals that it needed to process the body. So
right.
after you pull the body out the water, and you need to do the autopsy immediately because it decomposes even faster. It's already decomposing fast in the water, but faster when you take it out of the water and you don't have the chemicals needed.
But remember, they said they was backed up, which also sounds like to me he's not first on our list.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I
They're
mean.
backed up. He's not
So,
first on our list. We got this mother keep hitting us up with all these
mhm,
questions and stuff. Look, lady, we got other stuff going on. We'll get to him eventually. That's what it sounds
yeah,
like to me.
yeah, I agree. Oh my God. Oh
I
jeez.
really am so hurt
Yeah,
for this family, this mom. Oh my gosh, because she have been pleading.
yeah,
It's like she's been begging for help.
yeah.
She's been
And
begging for
she done
help.
did most of the leg work. You know,
Yeah.
all them anonymous tips. Oh, and I want to show y'all this slap right here. It's like a slap in the face. It was a slap in the face to me because I'm like, what you mean? Oh, let me try to find it. Here, it's this right here. It says, can you see the lady Tia? Officer John
Mm-hmm.
Furman with the Bloomington Police Department will not speculate on whether Day's death would be ruled as a homicide, but conceded foul play or not is unusual. Now, first, so y'all don't went from saying it's suicide to saying it's unusual, but you won't
Yeah,
say
to
that,
saying
you
they're
won't say
not
the
gonna
homicide though.
speculate.
Right.
They're not going to speculate. It's no speculations here. It's clear as day. It's clear
Yeah,
as day there's some foul play here. But they say
exactly.
foul play or not, it's just unusual.
Ain't that something?
What?
Wow.
It's unusual that y'all trying to say that this is a suicide. That's what's unusual.
Yes, absolutely. I was going to say because at first they was trying to spin the narrative that it was a suicide.
With
So
all of
they
this
can understand.
evidence coming out.
Hmm.
Mm-mm.
I just want to know, Lady Tia, who are all these anonymous people dropping these anonymous tips?
And it's and students that
And
and this is
who's
an
behind
hour away from the school.
Thank you.
It's an hour away from the school. Why would students be, finding things? And
Hmm.
what is going on in this city that all of this anonymous stuff is going to the police because of it
Hmm.
had to be the people in that little town that was doing these anonymous tips.
Hmm. Hmm. Just some random guy dressed in red found the wallet. Oh, and the girls they come from the school all the way down to the school because away from the school, an hour away from the school because they were bored and they wanted to do their own investigation and they found the rest of his clothes.
But you know what is what I think with those girls, I really think that they're on the side of this something ain't right about this, and
Hmm.
for them to be able to go out there and just follow the trail and find
Hmm.
stuff, let you know
Hmm.
that the police was not they didn't do a good job at all. They didn't care.
Hmm.
They did not care about
And
this young man. He
I,
went that's another and let's close this case by saying it's a suicide, but
mhm.
we ain't going. We ain't going. We not
Yep.
going. Mom done did her due diligence to let the world know that we ain't going. So now they have to work. And those girls, I believe, felt the same way. We ain't going. Something ain't right here. And for
Mhm.
them to find that, it just lets you know that the police
Mhm.
out there was not doing their job. All that the
Yeah.
girls did was expose the police, in my opinion.
Mhm. Mhm. I feel like it's some kind of Michi. I agree. I agree with you too, Lady T. I really feel like it's some kind of cover up going on. It's too convenient. Like, why y'all trying to? Even when it get to the part to where about the car really stuck out to me, Lady Tia, because okay, they didn't find the keys on him clearly because he didn't have no. He was found nude, in the water. So, but you're gonna take the time to remove the license plate and the people still not willing to say it's foul play involved. He
And
removed the
where is
license
the
plate.
phone records, Miss O?
Yes,
Miss Carmen is still asking for the phone records,
yes, can't
and
get that
she ain't
either.
got them, and the police ain't said nothing about these phone records.
Mm-hmm,
It's easy. I can go and get a transcript of my phone records of
mm-hmm,
what I have did on my own phone. Why
mm-hmm,
haven't she got the phone records? Why haven't the police came out with the phone records of his whereabouts and who he was talking to and all of that? That would go back to the professor of that texting that
mm-hmm.
night
Yep, yep,
before
yep,
about
yep,
the meeting.
yep,
What
yep, yep.
happened? That why was he texting? Why was she
Mm-hmm,
texting him? What was important about this meeting that
mm-hmm.
made it so alarming to her when he didn't show up supposedly? And
Exactly.
at 1 o'clock, she felt the need. She needed to go find him.
Yeah.
What was the meeting about? And it will be in the phone records of what the meeting was
Mm-hmm.
about.
Where's the phone? Like you said, and my thing is, how you gonna be so alarmed so fast? I mean, it don't make no. This ain't your child. This just one student out of. I ain't no telling how many students you got in the class. So how immediately are you so upset? And then what about that footage that they snatched up real quick?
Right.
I don't see how that boy was dressed for a meeting, went into and bought some Starbucks 10 or 20 minutes before the time it was time for y'all to meet, and then him not show up. That don't make no sense to
But
me.
then, but then, less than an hour, he at the dispensary.
Right.
Like,
But first he
he
went home and
came
turned
to
the
go
phone.
to that meeting. He had no reason to be on campus that day. He had no
Right.
reason to be on campus until 1 o'clock. So
Until one
he was
o'clock.
there to go to that meeting.
And
That's
you
why
can
I'm
tell he
like,
was there. Yeah, in
I
my opinion, you can tell he was there. And he was waiting before while he was waiting, on time, early.
on
So
time,
he said,
yeah,
well, let
dressed
me
for
log
a
into
meeting.
the campus computer and do me a couple of clinical notes first. And then I'm gonna hop on over here to the student center, get me some coffee. By that time, the teacher ought to be here so we can have our meeting.
Right, we're gonna have our meeting, and
Yeah.
something happened between that time that either
Yeah.
he went to the meeting or she didn't show up like you said, but he
Right.
went home. He
He
went
went home and
home
changed his
and
clothes. Right.
changed. He
Yeah.
went home and changed and went
Yeah.
to that dispensary. What
Yeah.
happened in between the time of him going to the school and him going home to
Yeah.
change? Because apparently, whatever happened,
Yeah.
the meeting happened or didn't happen, but he was like, okay, well, I'm finna everything good. I'm going home, and he
Mhm.
don't went and changed. This all happened in a matter of an
Yeah.
hour of
In a matter
him
of
being on the
time.
campus and going home to
Yeah.
change his clothes. He done got
Yeah.
comfortable now, which let you know
Yeah.
he was
Yeah.
professional because he was dressed for a meeting that
He was
morning.
dressed for a man. He was
He
dressed for
went
a
home
man.
and got and dressed down and went to that dispensary. But something happened between the meeting
Yeah.
and him going to that dispensary.
Yeah.
Something happened between that time, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay.
G Jefferson, Kate, they pull the phone records. They won't. The mom is pleading for the phone records. They won't give her the phone records. She even went to, I think it was I'm not sure if it's T-Mobile, but whoever phone company he was with, they won't release that information to her, and the police haven't put it out either.
Why are they
Now we can get
studying?
all of this gruesome information about his body, but we
Yeah.
can't get the phone records.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Why have you heard why they're saying they won't release the phone records?
No,
Because
I
we
have
haven't either.
not
Mm.
have heard anything about why she haven't got those phone records.
Yeah. Yeah. I hadn't heard either. I hadn't heard either. That's crazy to me. That's pretty a normal. That's not so
Yeah, that's
outrageous of a
yeah,
request.
that's easy. That's a part of investigation.
Right.
Investigation, especially once they said the his phone stopped pinging at 9:20.
Right. But my thing is, do you think they have already released those phone records to the police?
Yeah, they already done got the video. They
Right.
already got the video,
They
and
got two videos. They got the video of him going into the school center, and they got the video of him at the dispensary. But
and
they just released a still shot of the
I
dispensary.
I
You know.
want to say that this professor husband is an officer himself. I think
But
I heard that. But I mean I know specifically she said she knows she got some friends in high places, especially with
Mhm.
the police or whatever. But
Yeah.
it just all rings suspicious when it
Yeah.
comes to this professor. It starts with her. It starts with
Yeah.
her.
Cause she sure is worried about him awful quick. Even before the mama got involved, she was involved. The mama stated, Carmen stated that she got more information from the professor than the police. So make
Um,
that make sense. And Ray
it's just
Black said she needs an
heartbreaking.
attorney and people back her. She's got an attorney. She's already got an attorney. She's got, like I said, they did a private, autopsy. They ordered, they hired a pathologist to do a second autopsy. And there was also, I also found out that she had offered a $25,000 reward, in connection, to find out if any information about, her son. She's offered a reward about it as well.
Oh, I got a few other questions. Okay, so she if you didn't know, she's fit to get a third autopsy done. But my thing is, how is these coroners having two different um diagnoses when it comes to the autopsy? How are
Hmm.
they got two different reasons? Since
Hmm.
when do these doctors or pathologists are not on the same page? How
Hmm.
is it conflicting to begin with? And why do we need a well, she's getting a third one now. She's
Yeah.
in the process of getting a third autopsy.
Hmm.
Why is it conflicting to begin with the first two?
Right. And then my thing is too, why did it really take them 20 days to identify his body? What were they waiting for? When you know you have to immediately identify, start doing your pathology exam, especially because you put him out of the water. They know that time is of the essence. Why did
Right.
it really take 20 days for them to identify his body? Because until they identified his body, you couldn't bring in a your own pathologist until the coroner identified his body. Do you see what I'm saying? So why did it take 20 days to do that?
Right. I mean, because the body gets in, if it's in water and if it's in there for a long time, it gets bloated. You know,
Right.
so that definitely is something they need to address immediately because the body bloats or
Mhm.
whatever,
Mhm.
and it could definitely mess up the results of cause of death.
Mhm.
And once again, I think
Mhm.
that's why the mom don't want to really talk about the organ
Mhm.
harvesting
Harvesting.
thing
Right.
right now because she wants
Mhm.
to know the cause of death, because
Mhm.
she know
Mhm.
that her son didn't take his life. She wants to
Yeah.
know the cause of death before we
Mhm.
start going down any other roads.
Mhm. And what if his organs weren't harvested to sell? What if his organs were taken out on purpose so that you wouldn't be able to identify the cause of death?
Yep, that's definitely a theory. That's definitely a
Mhm.
theory. Definitely
Yeah.
is.
That's
Because
just
taking those things that they took are the things that identify a body,
yes, the
the
brain, the
cause of death,
liver, the spleen, the
or whatever.
intestines.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Absolutely, Miss O.
Yeah, that's just strange to me. So I understand why she didn't want everybody running to organ harvesting because that's a really comfortable excuse. You can explain it away by saying, "Oh, they harvested his organs to sell them." Like I said,
Yes,
what if they took him out on purpose in order to hide his cause of death?
right. She
Because
want to
nine,
know who done this.
right,
She want to know who done this.
and the coroner has not yet identified the cause of death. Neither coroner has identified the cause of death, and in part because the body was in the water, and also because there are no organs to do the exam on. They're gone. But the coroner said they was liquefied. I don't believe that.
Yeah, I don't believe the liquefied autopsy either. I really don't
Mhm.
believe that. Even if he was there for 12 days. Um, and maybe that anonymous call that called and said that this is we go look over here about it, was
Yeah,
thinking that maybe it's long enough that they won't be able to
yeah,
identify
yeah,
because he's been in there long enough. But
yeah.
I'm
And
with
so,
you, Miss. Oh, I don't think he was there that long that
yeah,
the organs will be liquefied.
yeah. And then they go the thing the tip was so credible that 6 or 7 agencies went out looking to find the body. That's how credible an anonymous tip was. It was so detailed that 6 or 7 agencies went out and searching for this body,
Yeah, and she
all based on the tip.
can't even mourn yet. She can't even grieve yet because she still
Mhm.
need another autopsy to still get answers. It's just so sad that they just,
Yeah,
this young man corpse is just being tampered out over,
yeah,
and she's not getting
mhm,
answers. It's been almost 30 days, and
yeah,
she still haven't even been able,
yeah,
his body haven't been able to be released,
yeah,
and
yeah,
she still don't have answers because of the
yeah,
conflicting autopsies. That is just
yeah,
so hurtful. And I mean, I encourage, even though we want our kids to go to college and
mhm,
you be the
yeah,
best they can, and this
mhm,
apparently was a good school for him,
yes,
to further his education. But to
mhm,
know that he's out there and kind of almost by himself,
mhm,
um, it's like being across the world and trying to
yeah,
get answers on the other side. And
yeah,
she's being treated as if she's nobody and we don't really care. I mean, that's
yeah.
it's
The
sad.
way he talked to her was so disrespectful, so inhumane, in my opinion. Because if you've been working in the coroner's office, you know that these people want to find out what happened to their loved ones. Come on now, and I feel like that was an excuse. Them saying they didn't have the chemicals to process the body. This is a high profile case. All right, how you gonna say I don't have the chemicals to process the body? You done held the body for 20 days, knowing its time is of the essence because it's got pulled out the water. I mean, come on, that don't make sense to me. You know,
The
that's not.
only Impress asks us, where is Ben Crump and the crew?
Mm,
They need to get more traction. It's I look, only Impressed. You know something, we have our theories on some of these activists or
yeah,
whatever. This is definitely something they should have been on.
yeah,
But it's just mighty funny that sometimes the stuff that really need to be
mhm,
exploited out here in the world in the media,
yeah,
you know, they ain't nowhere around. Where they at? I'm with you.
yeah.
Where are they?
Right. D. Jefferson says they need to locate the anonymous tip because they have some info, like they got some more info. Well, I mean, I agree. Like I said, the tip was so credible that, I mean, hell, they had 6 or 7 agencies. Even the tip about the wallet was suspect to me. And then the girls going out finding the rest of his clothing when the other part of his clothing is in the trunk already. The license plates is took off. They can't find the keys. The car was hid, ducked off, and then they put shrubbery over the car. So he gonna kill himself, and he gonna do all that to the car before he go kill
Right.
himself.
It doesn't make sense. That
And they
doesn't make
said
sense.
nothing. Yeah, and they said nothing was stolen. Like off the car, or from the car, in the car, whatever. The car was just hidden behind some shrubs.
Right. This
I don't.
this should be a high profile case,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
not. If it wasn't for YouTubers, if it wasn't
yep,
for some of these
yeah,
outlets, because the Breakfast
yeah,
Club just talked about it yesterday, the day before
yeah,
yesterday. I'm like,
yeah,
wait a minute, this discovery has happened way in August, and y'all just
yeah,
talking about it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because this how long was like they were dragging their feet on purpose. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what it felt like to me. I just didn't get that. I didn't like what they trying to hide. That's what it make you think. Then you still won't say it's what did the guy say on the thing?
He said it's not they're not gonna say that it was a homicide,
Well,
but
right
it
here.
is
Here you
and
go.
not saying it is not no foul play, but it is unusual. But
It's
they're not saying this
unusual.
is not a suicide. They're not
Right,
saying
right,
that. And that's what
right.
mom is she want that to happen first. Stop
Yeah,
saying this was a suicide. Stop saying
right,
that because it's obvious it wasn't.
right. Clearly, it wasn't. It don't even make one and one. It don't make sense. The chain of events don't make sense to me.
Yeah,
So
it doesn't.
you don't even have to be a police detective or a forensic pathologist, to realize that. Hold on, wait a minute. This don't make. How they getting all of these tips? And then it don't even sound right. The license plate, the he walked. So he walked. So he took half of his clothes off by the car in this white town, right? And he walked straight to the river and took the rest of his clothes off and got
Right.
in
He
the water and
walking naked.
drowned. Even though he was a swimmer on the swim team. I'm like,
He
and
walking
then was the
naked, a
lungs,
swimmer.
and we
Come
don't
on.
even know that we don't know if the lungs were filled with water because your lungs filled with water when you drown, right?
Right.
We don't know that because the lungs were gone.
Yeah, that is all in the way of not identifying what
Yes,
is the cause of death.
exactly. They can't even say if his lungs was filled with fluid or not, was filled with water or not. They can't say that. Why? Because they can't find them.
And you know how they do the
Mm,
suicides where they say our people are hanging themselves.
yeah,
This right here is so much more detailed when
yeah,
it comes to certain things happen to his body and all this stuff like that.
yeah,
This definitely should have been a high profile case. On those
yeah,
hangings, we speculate, and why would he
yeah,
have this and that? But
yep,
this right here is totally different.
yep.
Totally different.
I agree. I agree. I agree with the Empress says the whole department should be under a microscope at this point. I agree. Because like Lady Tis, I mean it's a sundown town. The town is 97% white, only for 0.4% black. Yeah, I
And it's
don't
so
know.
scary to hear about it being a sundown town.
Yeah.
Sundown town means that because it's predominantly white, it is
Yep.
not a place for black people to be at a certain
That's right.
time of the night.
Yep. Nigga, don't let the sun set on your ass.
It's
That's what it
all
says
that
down town, man.
slavery mentality when it comes
Yep.
down to that sundown.
Yep. There's still sundown towns all over the United States, they say, but I know for a fact there are still sundown towns right here in the state of Tennessee.
Yep.
Mhm.
And
There's
I
a place
wasn't
called Heritage,
aware of that.
Tennessee. Yeah, there's a place called Heritage, Tennessee. Around here to where it's I don't even know if it's 0.4% black in Heritage, Tennessee. I think it's all white. And in certain places, like if you're driving from city to city in Tennessee or from town to town, you don't never want your car to get stuck on the interstate in some
Right.
little small town that ain't nobody never heard of,
Like
because
in
it's possible that
Mississippi.
you won't be heard from again. You know.
Yeah. I remember traveling and we was going through Mississippi and it was just blatantly right out there on a billboard, KKK.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Basically, that is not where you want to break down at.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They got these little signs up like that pride thing with the snake and all of this and all that. Some of them be on like little billboards and signs, and you want to keep going. If you black, you want to keep going, and trying to make it to another town. You don't even want to stop right there to get gas, you know,
Yeah,
because that's
just I just hate the fact that people act like they are blind to the
yeah,
racism of this type of stuff is still happening even
yep,
to this day. It's still here. It has
yep,
never left. It has
yep,
never left, and that's why certain things get put on TV and on the news, and certain things don't. It's just that as far as I'm concerned, it's just another black kid that's
mhm,
gone. That's it. That's how they look at it. Ain't nobody
yep,
really looking for him, but his mom is putting all that pressure on them, and that's why this story has now started to gain some traction. But
mhm,
if she didn't put that pressure and came
yep,
to that school and poured out her heart and been taking interviews, this would have went in the back burner as well.
mhm, yep, absolutely, absolutely,
And that's why
absolutely,
our people are high on the market when it comes to organ harvesting because they already know that black people cases don't get put out there. So
yeah,
if
yeah.
their cases ain't get put out there, they're more likely we can get their organs because ain't nobody looking for them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. In this case right here, I think it's something extra going on. I feel like the mom feel. She don't want nobody dwelling on organ harvesting because clearly there's been a crime committed here.
Right,
And like I said, I think they know more on that campus than anything. I just don't understand how, if you're not familiar with the human body, how is it that all of this, like the jawbone being sawed, the genitals being flayed, the organs being gone, even though they said they was liquefied. That's too convenient to me. You know what I mean?
right,
Like you have to know that I gotta remove this, that, and the other organ. I gotta remove this, that, and the other. You know what I mean? I have to
right,
prep the body like this so they won't be able to identify the cause of death. You know what I
right.
mean?
And the
It's just
jawbone being sawed off is
yeah,
not
it's much
from an
more.
animal. That
Yeah,
if it was an animal, it would have been more of a tugging type of
yeah.
extractions on the face. A
They said his
saw is
genitals
very
was
specific.
flayed. Mean they done filleted them like you said.
Right,
I mean that didn't come from no the teeth of the fish or the turtles or whatever else aquatic animals they got eaten away at the body. They ain't flayed it.
right. Even if
They
it was
didn't
a
flay the baby's
bear or
genitals.
something like that, it still
Yeah.
wouldn't come off sawed. It would come
No,
off
if it
as,
was a bird or something, they'd have tore it off and they would have ate it.
right. It wouldn't been like sawed. That's why I said sawed off was
Yeah.
very specific and really stuck out. Even if they want to say this liquefy, the sawing of the jaw is someone doing that, not an
Mhm.
animal.
Mhm. Mhm. My God. I it make you scared for your kids to go to school. You
Yeah,
know.
Miss Owen. That's why I wanted you to do the video and I put it in your comments because the more we talk about it, the more it gets
Yeah.
out and the more we put in pressure. Let's keep
Yeah.
putting pressure so we can get some answers. Even if we don't get answers like Kanika Jenkins, we still didn't get the answers.
Yeah.
Mom is pouring out to the world and we pouring out with her.
Yeah,
We ain't
absolutely.
putting this on
That's
the
why.
back burner. We're
Yeah,
not.
yeah, that's why I wanted to, that's why I took so many notes. I hate to do the note thing, right? I like to
Mhm.
do it off the dome, but this is so important that you want to let the world know specifically, what's going on. It's just that important because, like you said, mass media hadn't picked up on it. They talked about Gabby Petito for weeks,
Mhm.
and
And they
but
still ain't found him.
yeah, they still and they even launched to me it was more of an extensive search for him, the boyfriend, Gabby's boyfriend, than it was for Jelani Day.
Right. And not to
Yeah,
mention it was a young black girl that went missing a couple of days before Gabby. We ain't heard nothing about it.
that's true. That's true.
Nothing about it. But yep, they done searched two different parts now with this
Mhm.
Gabby thing. They done searched
Yeah.
for him.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they still talk about they are looking for him for questioning. No, he's on the run. What are y'all talking about? Ain't no
Right.
questioning.
Yeah. I don't.
They
I don't
word
think he's
things.
dead.
They
I
even
don't even
word
think.
things
What?
different
I
with
don't
us.
even think they think he dead. Like honestly, I don't think he dead
I
at
don't think he
all.
did. His parents is fit to go to once they do get him. His parents is going to be an accessory because it's
Yeah.
obviously
Yeah.
they are hiding him.
Yeah.
But
I don't think
they
the
just
boy
looking
did.
for him for questioning.
Yeah.
They're just looking for him for questioning. And this girl done died, but it's just for questioning. But our people, they ain't gonna say it that way in the media. They ain't gonna say it that way. He's a suspect, is what they gonna say.
Yep. Yep. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I hate it because clearly I think whatever happened to Jelani, I think it started at that school. You
Yep.
know, like I really do just feel in my bones that it started at that school. I think his body was hidden in that area. You know what I mean? But I think wherever it started, it was, at that school. It wasn't clearly he didn't drown. He didn't go all the way out to Peru, Illinois, and get butt naked and hide his car and walk into the river and drown himself. Clearly, he didn't do that. But I
And
think
I
in
don't
my
think he
mind, it
put
had
his
to do
shirt
with
and hat in the trunk either. Why would he? I
yeah,
mean, come on. Why would he take his clothes off and then don't be in the seat next to him? Why would it be
right
in the trunk?
in the trunk. Yeah, that don't make no sense. It didn't make no sense that anonymous tip about his wallet. That was real random to me. Random, but not random. I think it said a lot. And then remember that tip didn't come out. They didn't call in that tip until after the speech that the mama gave.
Right.
That's when they called in that tip. And then after that was a tip that came in, about where to go look for his body. That's
And
all
another
after the
thing is,
speech.
oh, I'm like, where did he have friends? Like,
Right.
did he? Did he have friends? Did he have friends there? I mean, we talking about a young man that was highly regarded because I seen the interview with some of his teachers. He was highly regarded there. Seems just looking at over his life and the things that he was involved in. Where is his friends or
Mhm.
associates to even add something to say, he was having problems with this or this
Mhm.
and that. Where are those people? It's like he was like the only one on campus type of
Mhm.
situation. It just don't make sense.
Even when it comes to his teacher, to me, it's like he was he her only student because she's way invested. You texting this boy at after 9 o'clock at night. You more worried about him than his mama is. His mama didn't even consider him missing because she just talked to him on the night of the 23rd, the same night you was texting. It
Right,
wasn't enough time for the mama to think nothing was wrong with the boy. Wasn't enough
right.
time. If the
She
police.
would have said something like he was when I talked to him, he was seeming a little nervous about something. He was having a hard time with it. And something like that would have came out of mom's mouth
Mhm.
if that conversation that they had before was like that.
Mhm.
He was in his regular state, doing
Yeah,
what she know about him or
yeah,
whatever. It's just
yeah.
crazy.
It's crazy to me too. And why in the world would the boy kill himself? And he know his daddy in the hospital for cancer.
Right.
That don't make no sense either. You
He's
know.
in he's in school to help
Yeah.
people. He would be eager to help his dad.
Yes, absolutely,
Doesn't make
absolutely.
no sense.
Nope, don't make no sense. But like I said, I really wanted to come on and finally talk about it. I know y'all was probably wondering why I hadn't talked about it later here, but I wanted to get as much info as I could, you know. But I
Right.
kind of figured out, well, maybe it's gone since they done laid him to, they done had his memorial service and everything, you know. And I heard the same thing so many different times, and I was like, well, let
Yeah.
me go ahead and just present this evidence right here. And y'all know if I hear anything else, I'll come back. I can fall down a rabbit hole when it come to cases like this, like I did with
Yep.
Kanika. That's
Mhm.
why. That's another reason why it took me so long. Cause the more I think about it, the more I want to just look and look and look and look.
Yeah, well, you
Yeah,
know who I can direct you to, cause she's on the case. 54 Keys
people
is on
yes,
this
yes.
case.
Yeah,
She
oh,
is
y'all,
on
and I
this
got a
case.
lot of the information that I got, y'all, from the 54 Keys channel. Y'all might want to go check her out if y'all haven't. I got a lot of the information from her, and then I try to cross reference it because, like I said,
Mhm.
and I want to put it all together in one video, because the reason why I do that, and the reason why I cross reference it, even though she is excellent at what she do, but I try
Mhm.
to get it from I try to find another source.
Right.
I guess it's back from my school days. How you cite
Mhm.
more than one source. Because I don't want to be presenting nothing to try to offset nothing.
Right. But you
I
know
feel
what?
like the
I look
mama
at it the
feel.
same way, Miss O, with you and 54 Keys. Y'all got questions. And these are the
Yeah,
questions that we are looking for as well. So
yeah,
that's why I was like, oh, Miss O, I hope you do the video because I know you got questions too. And
yeah,
those questions are some things that you never know. Somebody might come in the comments and answer some of those questions. Somebody may come in the comments and know this young man. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
it's a lot of things can happen behind making
Mhm,
videos on certain things like this. And
mhm.
I definitely I appreciate 54 Keys because she made some very
Yeah,
good asked some
yeah,
very good questions. Of
absolutely,
course, we all in agreement that is something suspicious about
absolutely.
this professor.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I would
Don't take
recommend
rocket
54
science
Keys on
either.
this as well to follow
Mhm.
when it
And I
comes
saw
to
a
trying
couple
to
of
get
other
some understanding.
videos too, y'all. Y'all need to type in Jelani's name because not only is 54 Keys on the trail, there are some other videos out there that are very credible. But the one
Yeah.
thing I noticed, all through all these videos and all the articles that I read, they are saying the same things and it is consistent. You know what I mean? So that leads me to believe the evidence that they are presenting, the stuff
Mhm.
that I told y'all, there is credible information.
Right.
That's because that's
Absolutely.
the one thing they all got in common. Ain't
Mhm.
nobody doing nothing extra, but they're all coming to the same conclusion.
Right, they're
You
not
know,
just guessing. They
yeah,
these people that are doing their research
hmm,
is showing you videos
yeah,
of these
yeah,
the attorney, videos
hmm,
of the corners,
yeah,
videos of the. So yes, it's definitely credible
hmm,
information out here.
yes,
We are not going off of what we think. We're going
yes,
on what the
exactly,
information that has been put out, and we also
exactly.
questioning what has not been put out.
Yes, absolutely. That's what I'm trying to say, Lady Jill. You are absolutely right. This is too important, and that's why the mom don't want that narrative getting out there about just simple organ harvesting, because that is something they can use as an excuse. That's what the mama trying to say. It's like they're trying to cover something
Right,
up. Okay, so all these black folks gonna believe it's organ harvesting, and we don't have to, put nothing else out because they believe it's organ harvesting. That's
right,
it. That's all. End of story. No,
right.
that's not the end of the story, though. No,
It's not.
no,
It's
no,
not the
no,
end of
no,
the
no.
story.
Because
It's
that
not.
woman want justice for her baby. You
Right,
know,
and we
it
want
was a
justice too. We need
yes,
to see some justice on these cases. We
yes, he's
need
such a
to.
promising boy. He had his whole life ahead of him. He ain't out here, getting in trouble, gang banging or nothing. Going back
Mm-mm.
and forth in jail. Good boy, going to school.
Dr.
You know
Day.
what I mean? To
That's
be
how
a
I refer him to, Dr. Day, because he was
yes,
gonna do that. He was gonna finish that.
yes, smart boy, smart boy. Got his whole life ahead of him. And then to have it snatched away like that. Lord.
He ain't gonna go through all of that school just to take his life. Nope. Nope.
Yes, all them years. Do you know how hard it is, child? I can't even imagine having to deal with going to school to be a doctor. Oh my God, that's half your life. That's just like, what is it? You do your course study, your regular college, and then
Mhm.
you've been to school for 12 years already. Then you go to the four for your regular, and then I think it's like 12 years.
It's
Um,
like
the
law.
12
You
years of
go,
school to
yeah,
become a doctor. I think it's
yeah.
like 12 years. I think I heard this someone one time. It's like 12 years or something. I'm like, oh my God, literally half your life. You have to take half your life preparing to become a doctor. Half of your life. And he could just
Um,
gonna go throw it away?
Misbehaving wanted you to drop the link, Miss O.
Miss Olivia, can you please drop the link for me to tell our people something important about corners? About corners in general, or okay, yeah, I drop it, no problem. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. But yeah, I mean, why would that boy do all that work and throw it away? Just to
Yeah,
throw it away.
Miss O.
Not to
This is
mention his dad
yeah.
was sick.
You're
So you
right.
don't, I mean, he don't, and he not clearly is not a selfish person. You know what I mean? Not a selfish type person. Because he's doing work to help somebody. So
Yeah,
why? Yeah,
he wanted to help kids with speech impediments.
right,
That's what he was
exactly.
going to school for.
Yeah, yeah. That caught my eye right there. Caught my eye right there too. Wanting to help kids with the speech impediments and stuff like that. And so yeah, that kind of caught my eye too.
There's something very dreary and creepy about that town.
Yes, absolutely. Let me see.
Something going
Hello,
on in that town that
Miss
ain't right.
Behavior.
Hey, Miss
Miss,
Olivia, thank you so much for dropping the link. And hello, Miss
nope.
Tia. I
Hey,
just,
Miss Baby.
can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Can
I
you
can
guys
hear you.
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. On Clubhouse, I was listening to a girl speak about the loss of a cousin that she has. And when she spoke about the loss of the cousin, it was under unusual circumstances, and they got a cause of death from the coroner as like it wasn't foul play, basically. And she stated something that is so important and is so true. I even checked it out for myself, and I encourage all of our people to check it out. She said the coroner for the state where her cousin passed is not a medical doctor, has no medical experience whatsoever. And I looked it up. I looked it up for that state, and then I went to the CDC website. No coroner in this country has to be a medical physician. The only qualifications for being a coroner is being a United States citizen, being over the age of 25, being a registered voter, not having any felonies, and taking one course that I believe it like maybe a 100-hour course or something. And you can apply to be a coroner and you get that position for 4 years with no medical experience. So we
Wow.
see an increase of people wanting independent autopsies because the people that they're going to for the independent autopsies are physicians. They are medical physicians. These people aren't even morticians. They're not even detectives. They have no degree is required to be a coroner in the United States. If you think I'm lying, look it up. You can actually go to the CDC website for those qualifications.
Wow. That is just so, and that will only explain why there's conflicting autopsy reports.
Exactly, exactly. And I'm going to tell you, especially with this case, I thought to myself, of course, the coroner up there is not going to see anything and they're going to just slop it off. And I understand his mom came back later and she was saying, I'm not trying to, give an indication that his organs were stolen and da 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 da. She doesn't really understand the science of it, and the coroner doesn't either because he's not a scientist.
Right.
He's not a medical
Right.
doctor. And that's all I want to say. Thank you, Mr. Lydia. I just want all of our people, if we're ever in this
Oh,
position, please understand your local
yeah.
coroner may not have a medical degree. All you have to do is go look it up.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for sharing that because I had no idea.
I didn't either.
Had no idea. So thank you so much. Wow, that's crazy, right?
Yeah, that
The
is
best he don't
crazy.
even know what the hell he talking about.
Right. And that's why I was saying, why aren't they on the same page when it
Yeah,
comes to the examination of
yeah,
this young man's body?
yeah,
I mean, what's going on here?
yeah. And it makes sense for him not to know that time is of the essence when it's brought out the water.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, thank you, Miss Behavior. We really appreciate you for bringing it up because I had no idea. I really did not.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
I didn't know
Really
that as
did not.
well.
That's scary. You know what I mean? That's a. Ooh,
Well,
it's
things
really.
like this, because I still been trying to figure out what I want to do with my channel, because I'm going to do it. But
Mhm,
this stuff right here is what my spirit is geared to, because
mhm,
I'm so sick and tired of our people are not getting the exposure. I'm sick and
mhm.
tired of it. And the
Yep,
only way that's gonna change if we change it.
that's true. That's true. Like I felt like it was disgusting for them to focus so much. And don't get me wrong, it was so horrible what happened to Gabby Petito,
Yeah,
but it was
absolutely.
just as horrible what happened to Jelani. And y'all couldn't get, but they no reports about Jelani, but on weeks on the national news like the ABC and the NBC and the CBS weeks, because everybody don't have cable weeks on Gabby Petito, but not mentioning Jelani. But I think I might have heard one time weeks ago them mention Jelani. Maybe I think,
Yeah, I think
but
it
I
was
can't
three
even.
weeks ago that
Yeah,
I've seen it.
yeah, and then there was just the one time. Now CNN has done a couple of interviews with Jelani's mom, but CNN
Yeah,
CNN brought attention to Kendrick the Kendrick Johnson case. Now I will
right.
give you they even still will refer back to that case from time to time talking about Kendrick Johnson.
Yeah,
Over
yeah,
the years they have done several pieces about Kendrick Johnson. Like they won't let it go on
yeah,
CNN. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So
Foxo with Lisa Ray and Selena, those four ladies,
mhm,
Vivica Fox, they did a great piece on Jalen Day. I suggest y'all go and watch that. You'll get some jewels on that. Them ladies came through. They really
because
did come through on their video when it comes to him. They
okay,
are mad. They are absolutely mad about this,
because
and we ain't going. We just
yeah,
ain't going.
yeah. And if you keep talking about it enough and they get popular enough, they're gonna have to talk about it. And in the major news channels are gonna have to talk about it. You
Yeah,
know, they're gonna have to. And so that's why it's so important for people to continue to talk about it on their channels and stuff like that. And that's the reason why I want to get as much pertinent information as I could,
right.
to put it out there because you never know.
Mm-mm-mm.
Just whatever you can do. I'm trying to do my little part, but there are bigger challenges than mine talking about it, which is a wonderful thing that
Yes, it
needs to
is.
be done. Because ain't no a lot of people gonna watch my little channel, but who knows that you'll click on. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but yeah, but Miss O don't never doubt it, because you'll never know who's watching.
Yeah, no, yeah,
You
right, yeah,
never know
yeah,
who's
absolutely.
watching.
You don't
And
never know
and
who's watching.
I've been sharing out everybody video talking about it. Everybody
Hmm.
I've been sharing out, because I want
Hmm.
people to talk about it. We want
Me
some
too.
answers. And if as
Me
long
too.
as we stay on their asses, they gotta talk about it, damn it.
Yep,
They gotta keep it alive, because
yep,
we ain't stopping.
yep. And it's so it's so clear that somebody done something to this boy. It's like they're not even trying to. It's like they're hiding it in plain sight. I can't even really.
Oh, that's exactly
uh,
what they said. That's what they said. Selena Johnson on Fox Soul. She said
oh really?
this stuff
Okay.
is hiding right in plain sight.
It
They
is.
ain't. It's red in plain sight.
I didn't even really say that, but I agree.
Yeah, they talk
It's,
about the black
it's,
market and all of that stuff.
yeah, yeah,
We are
yeah,
our organs are a high commodity, because they
yeah,
know
absolutely.
we don't get the media attention.
Yeah,
That's why
especially
our
black
organs
women.
are
Now,
high
now
commodity.
they taking out your uterus and transplanting it.
Yeah,
What better uterus to get than the uterus of a black woman? Come on now, come on.
absolutely. We'll go back to Henrietta Lacks.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Go back to Henrietta Lacks. But you know what's absolutely disgusting to me? That clearly has something going on, has something has gone on, like you said, in this little sundown town. And what put me in the mind of Emmett Till, and not even getting to Kendrick Johnson, what put me in the mind of Emmett Till, and even before Emmett Till, is how they used to do our black men when they would lynch them.
Yep.
They would cut their genitals off their body and
It,
pickle the genitals, keep them in a
yep.
jar, and put them on their mantles in their homes and stuff like that.
Yep.
And it put me in the mind of that sort of thing,
It
the way they
did the
did
same
that
thing
brother.
as well for me when they went to his genitals.
Yeah,
It brought me way back to that. I was like,
yeah,
what would the be reason for them to
yes, to
mess
do
with his
that.
genital area?
Yes, that goes beyond any type of organ harvesting. That's some sick ish. That's coming from a sick mind right there. You can't say the fish or the turtles picked up a knife and flayed his genitals. Can't
Right,
say that. You can't say that. They didn't say they nibbled away at it. They said it
right,
was flayed.
right,
It
right.
was flayed.
It was
So that
cut.
means it was done in purpose, on
Right.
purpose, just like the jawbone being sawed out was on purpose.
Oh, and Miss O, his brother looked just like him, Lord. His
Yes,
brother looked
I seen
just
him in a
like him.
interview. I had to do a double take.
Right. They look like twins. They look
Child,
like twins.
they
Right.
sure
But
do.
I mean, I'm finna get off of here. I'm so glad you did the
Okay.
video. But prayers to um to his Miss Carmen, the
Yeah,
family,
yeah,
and we're gonna keep putting this information out until we get some
absolutely.
answers. Whether people got to be called out, whether that whole town got to be called out, because those anonymous tips came from people in that town, and
Yeah,
it just got to stop. I mean, this can change a lot of things in the world when we start getting answers and starting
yeah.
putting our people out there in the media and start
Hmm.
getting ourselves in a place where we have a place for our people in the media and we're not getting overshadowed by other things. Rest in peace to Gabby. It's obvious we know
Yeah,
that that guy had something to
yeah.
do with that young lady's death, but we just don't know what happened to Jalen.
Yes, just don't know what happened to Jelani. And he's
Um,
in rest in peace to both of those young people, Gabby, as well as Jelani. She is like I said earlier on my video. I don't know if you heard it, but when it comes to Gabby Petito, that is a cautionary tale for any
mhm.
woman, but especially young women, getting to know to try to get to know this person for you let him separate you from your people,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
that is a sign of abuse and of the sign of
mhm.
an abuser. And
Yeah.
he had
That
to
video,
go.
her blaming
Mm,
herself for everything that day,
yes.
man, that hurt my heart. It hurt
And
my heart to see
I've
her
seen it
blaming
so many
herself.
times, Lady Tia. That's what I was trying to say. The police ought to be trained in how to identify a domestic violence a victim. They can
Yeah.
see the look on her face and the words coming out of her mouth. It's why they should have took that little girl into custody with them. That's like
Mhm.
one on one. Do you see the way she looking at y'all? She
Right.
pleading
She
for
was
help in her eyes.
crying. She couldn't help herself. She was crying. She was giving herself so many excuses to say it was my fault. This is my how
That,
I got PTSD. All of this stuff she
exactly.
was blaming herself for. I hate to see young women blame themselves
Yes.
when for everything, and he didn't take
Mhm.
any accountability
Yeah,
on
that's
that
a clear
recording to
sign
say,
that something was going on. Do they not have
yeah,
domestic violence training? I know here the officers were made to take domestic violence training. Do you see what I'm saying? When you're
right,
working in social work, you are trained to look out for the signs of a
right,
domestic violence victim. And what she was doing on camera, the part that they showed, those were clear signs that she was a domestic violence victim. I don't know how them officers didn't take that little girl with them. But like I
right,
said, this is a cautionary tale. This about Jelani Day right here. Mamas and daddies, if you listening, this is a cautionary tale as well. Both of these cases are cautionary tales. The thing I hate about it, and I'm not trying to discount anything that happened to that little girl, because my God, I got
mhm,
nieces. You see what I'm saying? But I got nephews too. I don't want nobody's kids hurt.
right,
But at least Gabby got the coverage that she needed, and they hurried up and found out what happened to her. But poor
mm,
little Jelani, we didn't even know that she was manually strangled. Do you know
yeah,
how much
mhm,
force it takes to put your hands around somebody's neck and
Yeah,
strangle them to death.
they say it takes 3 minutes, at least 3 minutes before
That
that
takes
person
force. You gotta squeeze it real tight. You know what I mean?
just
Real,
evil. It's
real
so much
tight.
evil. So much evil out here in the
Huh.
world. But yeah,
He
we
did
here to
that
shine
looking
a
at her
light.
eyes, Lady Tia.
Right?
He
Yeah,
is the enemy. When they say sleeping with the enemy, baby, she was sleeping with a for real enemy. He looked at her in her eyes and he choked the life out of her
yep,
body while he was looking at her eyes.
yep. And said he
My
wasn't,
God.
and she said he wasn't supportive of her decisions on what she wanted to do. She wanted to be a YouTuber. She wanted to be a YouTuber, and he wasn't in support of that. Like it was
I think he
obvious
jumped
that,
in that van.
man.
Ain't no telling how long he had been slapping her around, and ain't no telling what set him off. The last little time to cause him to choke her, but clearly, he had been dominating over her for a while.
Yep,
Clearly, that's
yep,
how he found himself on the road, with that child. You know what I mean?
yep.
It is just as clear to me that something happened to Jelani, and that boy
Mhm,
did not kill himself, and it would appear to be a cover up going on. I want to know who in the hell all these people is that know all this info, that's finding
mhm.
all these tips, and I just who are these people?
Right. Yep. Right.
You
And
know,
so,
like I said, it's cautionary tales when it come to both of them. Like I'm so scared because we want our kids to go to college. You know, and but
well,
my God,
everybody.
I still feel like somebody was in his dang on car, Lady T.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Absolutely.
last time I seen.
I
Why else would he park so far away? He the only one in the parking lot.
if he wanted to hurt himself, he wouldn't want to be on that camera either.
That's true too. He looked dead at the camera like he was
Dead
pleading for
at it,
help.
like he wanted them to see
Mhm.
him track my
Mm,
steps. It was like he was speaking, saying, "Track me. Something is going
mm,
on. This ain't right. Watch me." And he looked up
mm.
that camera, man. That hurts my heart. And like
Yeah,
I said, prayers to Miss Carmen and the family.
yeah.
I know they have not. She ain't had a ounce of sleep. Ain't an
Mm-mm.
ounce of sleep. And I
Mm-mm.
understand she don't want narratives to be spent, but
Yes,
she
yes,
need
yes,
to
yes,
know
yes.
we ain't trying to spin no narratives, honey. We
Yeah,
out here wanting to get answers
yeah.
just like her.
That's right. That's right. I understand why she don't want that organ harvesting to just take everybody's eye off of what happened to that boy's organs because I believe those organs were taken in order to cover up his murder. That's what I believe.
Right.
That's what I believe.
Exactly.
Now we know organ harvesting we occurs on a daily, but so many of our people come up missing. But this right here, the way those organs were gone, and the way they try
Yep.
to say it liquefied, I think they didn't all them students at that college with the medical school thing. They
Yep.
know they had to take them organs out that boy's body to cover
Yep.
up that murder. Come on
Yep.
now,
Yep.
that don't even make sense to
Check
me.
on your kids, moms and dads. Check on your kids. Check on them. If they out of state in college, check on them. Check on them. See where they head at.
Yeah.
Go out there and spend some time with them if they ain't coming for the holidays. Check on your
Mhm.
kids because they will throw our people away and don't give you no type
Throw
of
away like
respect behind
trash.
it.
Throw
Yep.
us away like trash. And then another thing, Lady T, I want to say before you got out here, I find it awfully suspicious that immediately that detective, that first one that talked to
Hmm.
Miss Norman, the very first one tried to spin a narrative of suicide. Before he knew
Right.
anything, for the car was
Within
found.
2 days.
Yes, for the car. That this is before the car was found and
Right.
all of that. You immediately, you going to suicide. This
Right.
boy been missing what 24, at least 24 up to 48 hours,
48 hours. Yep.
days, and you immediately going to suicide.
Right.
After you done pulled the tapes and everything, right? So you immediately going to suicide.
They need to
Okay,
stop it. What they don't know about our people, we done been through the struggle and we ain't out here trying to take our lives.
that's right,
Whatever stereotype they want to give us, we ain't out here trying to take our lives. We ain't out
right.
here doing that.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
they need to stop pulling that narrative like black people are out here. Oh, they committed suicide. They gave up. No, we ain't gave up all this damn time.
Well, now he's 25 years old. He finally in clinicals and stuff. This boy on the right path. He trying to reach his goal. His daddy in the hospital. He got to give him some bone marrow to save his life. That boy didn't have no reason taking his life. Everybody's stressed out, especially if you in school. But the boy, before he went to the meeting, with the alleged meeting with the professor, he doing clinical notes. He done logged into the school computer. He
Yeah,
getting that done. He's very well organized, this young man. He got on the
exactly.
clothes appropriate for meeting the teacher. He
Right,
don't go put on them gym shorts and that hat and that t-shirt until after the meeting,
right.
just before he went to the dispensary where the phone pinged last. So he's doing things in order.
And
So
just think about it, Miss O. Now his father don't have a bone marrow
yep,
donor.
yep. And you can tell
Lord
that
have
boy was
mercy.
raised right. He wouldn't leave his daddy in no lurch like that. He would not. He would
Yeah,
not. He wouldn't
yeah.
leave his mama to be worried. But you could tell he was a mama's boy. Love his mama. You could tell. But his mama is not giving up.
Oh yeah,
She's not
she
gonna
ain't
be
giving up.
quiet. It don't matter if they're frustrated or not. She ain't giving up. She ain't gonna stop talking about it. She wanna know what happened to her boy. And I hope she get that peace of mind. Lord knows I do, but I with the police being involved the way that they're involved, I don't know. You
Yep,
know.
Miss O. We just don't know. But that
Yeah,
doesn't mean we ain't gonna keep talking. We gonna keep talking.
that's right. That's
We gonna
right.
keep talking.
That's
Well, Miss
right.
O, it's
That's
been
all
a
we can do.
pleasure. I'm glad you
Thank you
let
for
me
listening.
up to help
Yes.
with anything else, cause I get invested in stuff like
Me
this.
too.
I be
Yeah, I try
down
not to.
deep in it.
Yeah. Me too. I try not to. I was like, Lord, I don't. I know. I
Mm-mm.
mean, even if I go down this rabbit hole, I'm not gonna be able to stay out of it. It took me a
Yep.
long time to crawl out of Kanika Jenkins rabbit hole. And if I say her name too many times, I'm gonna
Yep.
go back down in the rabbit hole. Cause that's another baby. I just cannot.
Yep.
And now we got this Jelani, and
Yep.
uh, I guess we're gonna go down the rabbit hole, lady. Too. So thank you
Yes,
so
we is.
much for coming up here to help me explain the case and talk about other stuff. I really appreciate it. And thank
You
you,
are
what's
welcome.
her name? Misbehaving too, for dropping that knowledge about the coroners not even having to have any kind of medical training. I'm like, what?
Absolutely. That was definitely something I didn't know.
Yeah, I
Didn't
didn't.
know.
Yeah, and like you said, it's no wonder people hire independent coroners or pathologists or whatever. It's a reason for that.
Right. Right.
And that's probably just in part the reason, because they know that these people really don't know what they're doing.
Right. Right. Absolutely. So
So
I
yeah,
hope we'll find out what happened with the third autopsy. When I find out, I'll let you know, and
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 I'll be
we'll go
looking.
from there, Miss O.
Okay, and I'll be looking. If I don't say nothing, you think I ain't seen it? Just drop it in there just in case. You
You know
know,
I'll drop it down.
drop it
You
down,
know
honey.
I
Let me
will.
know. But I was coming to talk about it, Lady Jill. Like I said, somebody else had asked me. I think it was last week, maybe. Had I been watching what was going on with the Jelani Day case, but I had been watching, but I want to get as much
Right.
information as I could. That's why it took me so long. But yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
I
watching.
totally understand. I
Yeah,
totally
I'm watching.
understand.
I just
Well,
want
Miss
to do
O,
my
you
thing.
have a wonderful weekend. I'm
You
probably gonna be
too.
off of this YouTube. I got my
Yeah.
daughter's birthday coming up, so getting ready
Oh,
for
happy
that.
early birthday.
Yeah, she getting ready for that. We taking
Well,
her out to lunch and all of that good stuff, and then whatever ever stuff that's gonna cost me or whatever.
ain't
I
that
gotta
always
find
the way, child?
right. I
Right.
gotta find a way to get that money back.
How old she gonna be?
She'll be 10.
10 years old. That's
Yeah,
all right.
10.
That's
Remember we were
all
talking
right.
about it when we had our little ladies chat, and I was telling you
Yeah.
we're starting to get to that age.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you
you know.
did. You did.
Mhm.
Well,
Well,
happy
you have
birthday. Tell her happy birthday for me.
yes, and thank you again for having me and
Okay.
chat. Y'all watch out and check on your babies. Check on them. They may be grown, but they still your babies.
Yeah, I know that's right.
All
Well, all
right,
right,
Miss
lady.
O.
Have a good weekend, okay?
You as well.
Okie dokie. All
All right,
right.
later. Bye.
Mhm. All right. Bye bye. Well, y'all. So that's pretty much what we came here to do. I think we almost approaching 3 hours on this, but it is so important that we keep talking about this. Empress said the whole town know what happened. I agree, Empress. I agree. I agree. I agree. The whole town know what happened. It probably ain't the first time it happened. I don't think they expected to mom uh for Jelani's mom to be so diligent, and that's why they were being frustrated. They were acting frustrated and acting like she was getting on their nerves. When the only thing she want to do is find out what happened to her baby. But for them to treat her like that is inhumane in my opinion. But anyway, y'all, like I said, if I find out something else, people are still talking about it. I done got invested now. And I hate to go down these types of rabbit holes because, oh Lord, and it just get worse and worse. But anyway, I keep you guys up to date. Thank you guys so much for joining me this afternoon. I hope y'all have a wonderful weekend. Thank you, Lady Tia, for coming up to help me sort through all of this information. Thank you, Misbehaving, for the info that you dropped about the corner, because that's something I didn't know. Thank you guys in the chat for being so interactive. Chad, I'm gonna get off of here. Please hit the like button if you haven't on your way out the door. Feel free to share this video. Let's get this info around. I try to put as much as I could in one long video instead of having it chopped up in little videos, because I think that things can be lost if you have to go, if you're doing 10 or 15 or 20-minute videos. I think things can be lost in translation. That's the reason why I want to put it in this one long video, right? So anyway, that's all I got. Love you guys. Be safe out there. Please continue to wear your mask and your gloves, because we are still dealing with this global pandemic. Put on top of everything else, people are going on strike. The food supply chain is breaking down. It's a lot going on. But anyway, having said all of that, I still hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Be safe. I love you guys, and I'm gonna talk to you guys later. Bye bye. Peace.